the Stanley Cup playoffs and a common denominator of survival, adversity. The Carolina Hurricanes overcame their shortened postseason past and defeated a battle-hardened New Jersey Devil team to advance to round 2. Against the Canadiens, the Canes were on the verge of being extinguished. But an improbable comeback swung the pendulum of that series their way and delivered them to the conference finals. The Toronto Maple Leafs, a similar story and adversity. 7 games of trench warfare against the Islanders left them bruised and battered. They managed to prevail, only to enter a second war of attrition with their provincial rival from Ottawa. Once again, the Leafs scarred, and once again, they were left standing. 2 teams left standing, but only one will survive this. Exclusive coverage of the Eastern Conference Finals welcomes you to North Carolina. Raleigh is the site. A full house will be on hand. They are called Caniacs, and they are loving the NHL and their Hurricanes, who take on the Toronto Maple Leafs in Game 1. Gary Thornbelkom and Brian England, welcome everybody. They are the Canes, the Cinderella team.
And they feel real good about themselves right now, and they should. This is a team that has arrived. All of a sudden, this franchise is battle-tested, adequately rested, and they truly do deserve to be here. But for the Toronto Maple Leafs, they deserve to be here as well. But one day is not enough to prepare after you've had a bitter Game 7 series. That said, I didn't think Toronto would make it this far anyway, so there's no way you can kill this team. They're for real as well. This should be good.
The great franchise history of Toronto continues on this season as they are now down to the Final Four, led by Gary Roberts, who used to play for the Canes. They gave him new life after a serious injury, but tonight he wears a Toronto uniform. Game 1, Conference Finals.
From the AFRTS News Center in Washington, this is the 2-Minute Report. Defense officials say a key to transforming America's armed forces is the development of weapons that are deployable, lethal, and light. Last week, Pentagon officials made that point clear when they recommended Congress terminate the Army's 42-ton mobile artillery system known as the Crusader. On Wednesday, a senior Pentagon acquisition official told reporters the plan to replace Crusader would include speeding up the current development of other Army artillery systems.
We hope to set reasonable goals, reasonable expectations, meet them as quickly as possible, get some soldier feedback, which is always important, and then modify them to correct those deficiencies they identify.
Mr. Wynn said some of the technologies already developed for the Crusader might be added to other artillery systems to make them more accurate and help the Army meet the Secretary of Defense's plan to transform.
Because we're accelerating future combat system, we really believe we'll transform the Army sooner. And frankly, moving the Army to a light and mobile forces is where we're at, where the Secretary is at, and where, in fact, the Army is at.
Mr. Wynn said eliminating Crusader would save the Army money that could be spent on fast-tracking existing systems. He said one system on the proposed fast track will greatly increase the accuracy of artillery fire.
The real advantage is that if we were to try to aim at a training center in the middle of a city, this will, we estimate and simulate that this will take 3 shots, whereas it now takes 150.
Mr. Wynn said fast-tracking artillery systems will ensure they are a more relevant part of the future force. That's the 2-Minute Report. I'm Army Sergeant Mark Parr.
In the May issue of Airman Magazine, flying ambulances make sure troops wounded in Afghanistan receive top-notch medical care. See how the Air Force's armada of cargo aircraft keeps the front lines supplied. And find out why a Travis NCO satisfies his need for speed competing in motorcycle races. May's Airman Magazine. Pick it up now.
Jeopardy has played host to all types of Americans with diverse backgrounds and fascinating life stories. Many people come here and rise to the Jeopardy challenge. Me, I'm just happy to be part of it.
One of the Eastern Conference Final, John Saunders and Barry Melrose. The Leafs, we know, are a very tired team. For Carolina, you know, it's an overused expression in sports. We don't get any respect, but this team probably can say that.
Overworked against the underappreciated. That's what this series is all about. But watch the Carolina defense in this series. They handled the big New Jersey forwards very easily. They handled the small, fast Montreal forwards. Let's see if they can handle what's left of the Toronto forwards.
What is left of the Toronto forward? Here, Roberts and Alexander Mogilny are looking around saying, hey, I haven't met you before. Let's lace it up. Game 1 is coming up.
For over 5,000 years, the people of Asia and the Pacific used art to document their histories, record their cultures, worship their gods, and to pay homage to their ancestors. From the powerful temple sculptures of India to the delicate strokes of the Chinese alphabet, art from Asia and the Pacific has always been as diverse as its people. A lasting legacy to enrich us all.
In 1818, Americans proudly flew a newly standardized U.S. flag. Congress voted to add a star for each new state, but fixed the number of stripes at 13 for the original 13 colonies. In March, veterans of the Revolutionary War received lifetime pensions from a Congress that also established the Army Medical Corps. In New York Harbor, the James Monroe set sail for Liverpool, England, beginning the first regular transatlantic shipping service. And in Florida, the first Seminole Indian War ended when General Andrew Jackson captured a Seminole stronghold and several Spanish forts. The U.S. believed that Spain had been sheltering hostile Indians and runaway slaves. Spain protested Jackson's offensive, which had not been officially authorized. But the Spanish minister was told that if he couldn't control the Indians and govern Florida, perhaps it should be turned over to the United States. It would be a year later. This was America in 1818.
Pardon me for saying so, but you don't look so good.
Well, look who's talking. Gee, hey, I'm sorry. It's just that my operator loaded another freeware program into my system. I feel so fat and sluggish I can hardly think straight.
Yeah, I know how you feel. I think there was something in that last shareware download. I think I'm gonna crash.
Excuse me, I couldn't help overhearing. You know, I just got that same shareware on my hard drive, and hey, I'm doing fine.
Well, that doesn't matter. What's okay on one computer may be a real headache for another. You know, I got a CPU that's running like molasses.
Oh, don't mention food.
They all know they have to go through their system administrator before they go adding new software.
You know, I guess some people just don't listen.
I only wish somebody was listening now.
The 37th Annual Country Music Awards. Will Brooks and Dunn, Faith Hill, Garth Brooks, Martina McBride, Tim McGraw, Toby Keith. I want to talk about me. All be winners. Be there as all of country music's greatest stars come out for the hottest ticket in town.
Wow.
The 37th Annual Country Music Awards. AFN May 24th.
ESPN's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs is brought to you by GMC. From professional-grade people come professional-grade trucks. By Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Cold down easy. And by Southwest Airlines, official airline of the National Hockey League.
Great to have you with us, everybody. The excitement this team has brought to the Raleigh-Durham area and North Carolina, truly amazing, as hockey has taken a hold and a position here in an area, obviously, that's still learning the game. And they're loving it.
It doesn't matter. It's hurricane fever, and it is caught on, and it is out of control, just like this crowd will be.
Carolina Hurricanes coming in, having won 8, lost 4 so far in this playoff year. Hurricanes here at home have gone 5-1. They've outscored the opposition 15-9 in front of their home fans so far this season. Carolina wins over New Jersey and Montreal. Toronto got here in 7 games against the Islanders and 7 games against Ottawa, and we are underway. And it's the BBC line against the Gary Roberts line of Toronto. So they've got the 2 offensive lines out there. Cole tipped that one back into the corner. Thomas Caberlet jammed it around the near side and then got leveled in. Just missed. Curtis Joseph had to go down on that one on a pass that came right back into the crease and almost tipped in.
It's like a set play, Gary, when Eric Cole takes you to the boards and just rips you into the wall. Rod Brind'Amour and Bates Battaglia know that he's going to go right to the corner of the net. He did that 25 seconds into Game 6 against Montreal and scored. And they all know where Eric Cole is going to go after the big hit. Watch this. He dumped it himself into the corner to set up this hit at Caberlet. He just killed him. Then right to the corner of the crease, waiting for a return pass.
Power play is going to come the other way, though. There's a penalty on this against Brind'Amour for goaltender interference. Rod Brind'Amour is out of there, and the power play is going to go to Toronto. And this is a break for Toronto because there's no question they know Carolina's coming out and is going to try and make them pay early physically and try and exhaust them because they're tired.
Absolutely. And they, they can't be emotionally ready. They hope to wake up as this game goes on. And the crowd as well is, at least for the time being, possibly going to be taken out, but all it took was a hit to get them back.
Sean Hill put the shot on the far side. Jeff Daniels could not clear the puck. Power play opportunity. Dempsey playing a point here. These Toronto Maple Leafs are shy 8 regular starters and a penalty coming, and a bad penalty picked up by Green. Travis Green just bordered a cane. That's Hill getting up very slowly. Sean Hill got boarded. That is going to cost Toronto a minute 28 worth of power play time. Not what Pat Quinn wanted from the Leafs early on.
No, and this is where Travis Green has to really use his head and restrain and pull back. Don't even make this a possibility. When Sean Hill was coming up and oh gosh, he got him with the elbow in the back of the head and nailed him to the ice. I mean, this on the power play, no. I could see this maybe at even strength in the heat of the battle early in the game, but not on the power play. There's the penalty that Rod Brind'Amour took. Curtis Joseph went down to one knee just to make sure he drew attention to it. When you're fighting your way to the front of the net, even if you're battling with a defenseman, you've got to make sure you know the goaltender is coming onto your radar screen and avoid him.
So it's a 4-on-4 for the first time here in this game. 4-on-4 situation early on, so we see the hitting. And there's no reason to believe we're not going to see this kind of hitting throughout this series. Played back in behind the net, where it'll be worked up the near side boards. Through center ice, Brent Hennigan got it up. In is Kapanen. Sammy Kapanen, you can fly. You want him out there in a 4-on-4. He gets taken down by Aki Berg. Berg pins him up against the wall. Wade Belak came back to get the puck. It'll be moved up ice. Belak, who is a defenseman, is probably going to be playing mostly forward here tonight because of all the injuries to the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's got to move up. Valine with the puck. Nicholas Valine. Valine had it dropped off. Hennigan got it back to him. It goes back to Hennigan in the zone.
Well, I'll tell you what, the friendships are sure on the back burner. Jeff O'Neill, who credits the turnaround of his career to Gary Roberts, just nailed Roberts.
Just wide of the net near side, O'Neill. O'Neill got wide open on that right wing. Alex McGillney is hot. McGillney open. Chance, and it's high. Went over the head of Anders Urbe. Urbe and Curtis Joseph, the 2 netminders in this game, as expected. Sent wide side by Brian McCabe. Back up onto the point. We're still a 4-on-4 for another 11 seconds, and there'll be a very short power play. There's a haul down and another Toronto penalty. Score! Doesn't count. No goal. Immediately waved off as the whistle had already been blown for the penalty because the puck had gone into the goaltender, so that will not count, but another Toronto penalty.
And another terrific play by Eric Cole. Man, I'll tell you what, when he gives you the hesitation move, and he did that to Scott Stevens in the Devils series, watch his hesitation move, then he comes around. And the whistle clearly blew before the puck crossed the line. The refs had lost sight of it. It looked like it had been under Curtis Joseph.
So the penalties are piling up early here in this game. Caberlet out on the holding call.
There is no easy way to defend against Eric Cole. And from our Southwest Airlines goal cam, Curtis Joseph not only had to try to focus on the punt, but he had to try to survive, knowing that Eric Cole was coming at a full gallop and had just lost his footing.
2:22, the time of the call on Caberlet. So now you've got 6 seconds left on the Canes penalty to Brendamore, and then there'll be a short two-man advantage for 32 seconds, and then the power play will continue. So a big chance here for Carolina.
I told you about the relationship between O'Neill and Roberts. Well, it's not that hot right now. They'll get back to that nice, cozy relationship after the playoffs.
Faceoff will be taken by Shane Corson against Jeff O'Neill. It is in the Toronto defensive zone. So a chance here to hold the puck in and get the power play started. Taken, though, cleared around by Brian McCabe. Batted up and finally out of the zone. Corey Cross shot in. Save made by Urbe. Played off into the corner. Sammy Kapanen back now a two-man advantage. 22 seconds on the two-man advantage for the Canes. Big opportunity. Near side wall. Jammed away. Corson almost got that. Not quite. Forced the play along the wall, though. Francis sends it deep. Curtis Joseph held it up. Played by Cross. Corey Cross playing in his 7th game this playoff year. Toronto's got a lot of players who've been in and out of the lineup. Off the near side is Hill. Hill working one of the points. Power play. Two-man advantage. Now a one-man center. Blocked into the corner by Corey Cross. Played still in the 5-on-4. 5-on-4 with a minute 12 to go in the advantage. Kapanen will play up on top. Sammy Kapanen, who had a hat trick earlier this year against Curtis Joseph in November. Looking into the middle, trying to find someone. Hill was down low. Shot. Score! O'Neill!
Officially rocking. The penalty kill is an area that Toronto has struggled with throughout the playoffs. This one Corey Cross had. It bounced off Jeff O'Neill's glove, and immediately Curtis Joseph started to motion for an intentional hand pass into the net. But I think Jeff O'Neill just swung at a puck that he thought was on the ice and missed. And unfortunately for Corey Cross, it climbed right up onto Jeff O'Neill's glove, and inadvertently, he banked it in.
They are on the phone taking a look upstairs to review this to see whether or not that may have been directed in by a glove. The call of the officials on the ice was goal.
It had to be completely accidental if it was glove. Ronnie Francis, one of the great power play quarterbacks, drifted it in front. There is Corey Cross. He was already swinging. Jeff O'Neill already thought the puck was coming to his tape and was swinging at it. He was swinging at it by the time it hit him in the hand.
Dan Maruelli, Rob Schick, our referees tonight. Curtis Joseph immediately wanted to argue that call. Schick on the right, Maruelli on the left as they go upstairs. They are still waiting. Keep in mind now, there has to be no question from the video replay judge that it was, in fact, gloved in.
Well, Gary, here's how the rule reads. A goal cannot be scored by an attacking player who bats the puck with his hand directly into the net. I think when that's written, bats the puck with his hand directly into the net, that it's at least implied that it's intentional. I mean, if it bounces off your hand when your hand happens to be in the midst of doing something else, I don't know. This may be one of those gray areas. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Pat Bush is here as the video goal judge, and the supervisor is the man in charge of the National Hockey League referees, Andy Van Helleman. He is upstairs with the video replay officials talking about this. Obviously, a vital call. It's a goal.
Yeah, I think it should be. I think Jeff O'Neill took a shot at a phantom puck that had already come up into the air, and in the process of swinging in air, he was lucky enough to have the puck bounce off his glove and in. There's Jeff O'Neill, but what you didn't see is he had already started the shooting motion before the puck even came close to his glove, and he just got air with his blade and got puck with his glove.
O'Neill's got a 4-game scoring streak now. 2 goals, 3 assists in the last 4 games for this Carolina team that just bashed Montreal in the final 2.5 games games they played against them, and they've come out here against Toronto and are really putting the pressure on. They are forechecking all over the place, 2 forecheckers up, trying to force the play, knowing Toronto's only had a day off. They're tired. They had to travel. Go get them early.
This could be a shock for Toronto's defensemen. The Ottawa Senators were a more passive team. They would sit back and wait and try to trap in the neutral zone and go for a turnover. Well, the Carolina Hurricanes don't wait for anything or anybody. They attack on the forecheck.
Goal came at 3:23. O'Neill gets his 3rd of the playoff year. It is an unassisted power play goal. 2 of the 3 goals O'Neill has picked up this season have come off the power play. Carolina's on top. They have not lost a game this playoff year where they have been the first team to score. That'll be chased into the corner and touched up for the icing call. And we'll check in at ice level with Ryan England. Right?
Gary, we're going to have the spotlight cameras rolling tonight and show you what kind of a night some of the top players are having, especially the goaltenders, Joseph and Urbe. Not just what they're doing in the net, but how well they're handling the puck. And by the way, Curtis Joseph has that bad hand. He never even tried to use it once in the warm-up. We'll also delve into the face-off circles as well and see some of the guys that are best at it in the entire National Hockey League. Guys?
He broke the ring finger on his left hand against Carolina. On February 26th, Curtis Joseph did. He missed a number of games, and it's been a problem ever since.
And he's not a real good puck handler, so the Canes wanted to handle and gamble.
Centering pass got blocked into the corner. Brendamore doing battle down there with Curtis Hoagland. Hoagland comes over, picks up the loose puck, centered it out in front, got tipped towards the net by Roberts, but it's covered up by Urbe. How do you get to the 3rd round, Bill, when your injury list looks like Toronto?
Well, on paper, the Toronto Maple Leafs perhaps should not be here, but the great words of hockey are guts and passion and pride and the will to survive in a series. Look at this list of injuries that the Toronto Maple Leafs have, including their best all-around player, Matt Sundin, one of their best role players, Darcy Tucker, also Ty Domi, Jyrki Lume, a valuable guy in defense, Yuskevich is at the bottom. I mean, so many pieces to the Pat Quinn puzzle are not available for him, and yet his guys have been able to find a way. Remember, down 3-2 against Ottawa. In Game 6 in Ottawa, they were down 2-0.
Amazing.
And they're still here.
They're still here. Ronnie Francis won the faceoff. These are 2 fine faceoff teams. That puck squirted free. Aki Berg could not hold it in. He would have had a chance. Svoboda the other way. Centering pass. Joseph played it off the stick to the near side. Curtis Joseph. Keep an eye on the glove hand. That's the hand that's bothering him. That's what Brian was talking about. Whether or not that impacts tonight. Kapanen. You got to believe the Hurricanes are going to shoot for the glove hand. Down he went. Looked like he may have wanted a trick call on that, but he's not going to get it. Svoboda was near him with a stick. Curtis Joseph did a pretty good flip-flop on that one.
But Curtis Joseph's hand won't hurt until after the save, so he'll make it.
He'll make the save, yeah. Feel it, right? Dumped off near side corner. Power play goal by O'Neill on the board, a 1-0 lead. Francis went back to get it. Travis Green on his left side. Toronto wanted to change it up. McGillney in. McGillney looking. McGillney plays it around the net. Back in front. Open shot. Urbe save. Rebound. Urbe got there. Still loose and covered in the crease. Oh, what a chance for Toronto.
A great chance. Not only one of them, 2 of them. Kind of a mismatch when Alexander McGillney gets out there against big Merrick Malik, number 5 for Carolina. McGillney's much smaller and much quicker. Number 5 got left in front, and as a result, McGillney was able to do a complete wrap around the net, step out front, and then Travis Green's desperation chance didn't make it over Urbe's pad. Watch this. Confusion at the far side of the net. McGillney out. The rebound chance from Travis Green. That's the splits. If there's any question about Arturs Urbe's flexibility, there isn't any more. He was post to post with the splits on that play.
One of the most interesting playoff goaltending situation ever. This Carolina team this year, they've had 2 goaltenders in and out.
Yeah, they were the only team to make the final 8 that had different guys starting. Kevin Weeks rode into the rescue against New Jersey, ended up winning that series. Last game was a shutout, ended up starting the series against Montreal with a shutout, and then gave way to Arturs Urbe. But the reason they made the change against the Devils was the Devils were too big. They were crashing the net. Arturs Urbe is a little guy. They wanted to have some size in there, and that's what Kevin Weeks has.
Doing a little ice work down there. While they're doing that, we'll remind you tomorrow, Ladies' Day at Baltimore's Pimlico Racetrack, and ESPN will have complete coverage of the Black-Eyed Susan Stakes. It's the 127th running of the showcase for 3-year-old fillies. Tomorrow at 5 Eastern, right here on ESPN.
I mentioned that the Carolina Hurricanes wanted to test Curtis Joseph with his puck handling because he's not very good. He's better than Urbe. The Carolina Hurricanes' own coaching staff do not want Archer Zerbe handling the puck. And naturally, he cares so much, he wants to try to help. They've said, try not to handle the puck.
Robert Reichel gets dumped. Roberts set up a little screen along the near side. Toronto trying to hold it in. Back into the middle. Roberts was open over there momentarily. Turned back into the corner. That's Nathan Dempsey, the 27-year-old. He's playing in just his 4th game. Corey Cross playing just his 7th playoff game. Bumped in the air. Urbe fell and caught it as he had a couple of Toronto Maple Leafs hanging around, hoping he wouldn't. Early on, Game 1, Eastern Conference Finals, O'Neill, a power play goal, his 3rd of the playoffs at 3:23.
People love to exercise. Even in the coldest places, you can find people working out. But if you're moving from a cold climate to a warm one, it's important to start slowly and gradually increase your physical activity until your body can acclimate to the warmer temperatures. Eating foods high in potassium can help. Get used to the heat and avoid heat injuries.
We have depositors all over the world, and our customers share one thing in common. They want to get the most out of their money. You know what I tell them? Start with the little things. And a good place to begin is with Stars and Stripes.
Pick up your copy today and start saving. Follow sales, get good deals on travel and entertainment, or catch a bargain in the classifieds. Your hometown newspaper is a great source for savings.
Not to mention coupons.
Stars and Stripes. No matter where your interests lie or what your education or training is, as the spouse of a service member, the employment specialist at the Family Center can help you find a job that fits. They can help you line up a job where you are now and can even show you what's available stateside when you return. With an international job database, the Family Center can help anyone find a job. Well, almost anyone.
Telling to go, the matching minor calls that came at the whistle. 1-0 Hurricanes leading. Toronto a chance from the point. Shot deflected. Came back out to center. Canes get it back. Brindamore bounce. Comes to the near side boards. And it'll be moved out. Toronto back up on the attack into the corner. Almost played by Gary Roberts. Roberts has been the leader during the playoffs for this team with 17 points. A magnificent playoff year for Gary Roberts. He is number 7 out there. Keep an eye on him. That'll be cleared back out to center. Toronto will come back to get it. Game settles down a little bit. Thomas Caberlet, the 24-year-old, up to the ice. Here's McGillney. McGillney in, save made. A little empty net for Green. Score! They've tied it up! McGillney and Green combining as Green followed it up and looked like Urbe lost sight of the puck.
Well, he made the first save and the rebound went right back out to Alexander McGillney, who really looks like he is terrorizing the Carolina defense. Man, are they backing off. Backing off completely. Watch this. Brett Hedigan backed in, let him take the first shot. Aaron Ward was trying to engage on Travis Green. And McGillney just cut laterally to his left. Watch, Green took Ward back. And before Hedigan could get there, McGillney has made the Hurricanes pay. What a story Alexander McGillney is. In the elimination games that these guys have played so far, the Toronto Maple Leafs, Alexander McGillney scored 5 goals in the 2 Game 7s. He got 2 in Game 7 against the Islanders, 2 in Game 7 against Ottawa, 1 in Game 6, which was also an elimination game against Ottawa, and he's just continued it here.
He now has 4 goals in the last 3 games as Alexander McGillney took that right off Green's stick, shot it home, and this game is tied at 1-1. And it was McGillney's speed that made the difference. Alexander McGillney, playing in his 100th playoff game, celebrates with his 32nd career playoff goal. And there's McGillney still out there. McGillney and Green can move. That's Travis Green. Green, great face-off series as well as offense, and that's Ronnie Francis. Francis, a goal and 3 assists over the last 3 games. He's on a scoring streak coming in. Sammy Kapanen with him. Corey Cross trying to tie him up. Went to the boards. Did so. Fans wanted a call. Joseph out had to block that. Helmet came off behind the net. It'll be played up. Kapanen had lost his helmet. To center ice, the dump in by Jonas Höglund. Höglund got it in. Toronto is going to change it up. And one thing the Canes have done early, their chances are coming right in front of Curtis Joseph. They're getting it down low. O'Neill off the glove. Went back into the corner. Over to get it was Anders Eriksson. Cleared back into the middle of Höglund. Höglund moves 2-on-3. Höglund just dumped it in wide of the net. He was looking for anybody cutting on the far side. Check put on Eriksson as he went after it. Flipped into the far side corner. It'll be controlled by Toronto. They found their leg. Shank Corson. Corson, a spinorama move. Got it out in front. Tried to chase it down himself. O'Neill took it away. Move back to center. Both teams need a line change here, and they'll get it. O'Neill will flip it in.
Boy, Toronto was alive and well. Here, you mentioned they found their legs. They never misplaced their hearts.
No, they certainly have not done that. They came out here and withstood the usual first 10 minutes of fire that you see when a team opens up at home game 1 of a playoff series. And they have withstood that, fell behind, got the goal back. Usually things will settle down a little bit when that happens. See the shots now up at 4-4. 11-12 to go in the period. The goal at 7:02 by McGillney. The 8th of this playoff year. Caberlet picked up the assist on the even strength goal. Wade Belak went right around that one. Picked up by Robert Reichel. Reichel lost control of it. Flipped off the boards on the far side. And a big hit put on Swoboda. Down he goes. He wanted a call on that and won't get it. Cleared back out to center. Both teams have come to play black and blue. Brendamore trying to flip it in. Knocked down. Caberlet will move it out. The Toronto defense will be tested by the Canes. They've got enough speed on a couple of lines to make it interesting.
Yeah, they do. But at the same time, the guy that leveled Swoboda, that is McCabe. And there's McCabe again. He will test the Canes physically.
Brendamore, it's back to the point. Shot by Hill. Blocked, and that had to hurt. Still held in. Play goes on into the middle. Blocked again while he was down on the ice. And finally a whistle. 2 saves. Paul Healy, the 27-year-old in his first playoff year, blocked the shot, couldn't get up, and the second shot went right into him.
Is this not a picture that the Toronto Maple Leafs have gotten so used to seeing? I mean, they don't like it any better. The only reason Paul Healy is in the lineup is because of all of the injuries. Now, Pat Quinn may be talking about Brian McCabe because Brian McCabe pinched up into the neutral zone, and that's how the Maple Leafs broke down that led to the big shot from the point. But, I mean, even Shane Corson was carried off the last game and came back to play because he blocked a shot. Ty Domi left the last game limping and couldn't answer the bell here in game 1. I mean,
look at this.
At what point? At what point do the Maple Leafs just flat out run out of players?
Well, that's the truth. I mean, that's why we've mentioned how many players have not played many games in the playoffs this year who are on the ice for Toronto. This is why. So Paul Healy, 3rd NHL season out of Edmonton, Alberta, is off, and it certainly doesn't look like he's going to be back. He blocked 2 shots, one of them after he'd already been down, and now Pat Quinn is going to have to adjust again. Continual changes in pairings and line combinations.
We'll show you what happened. A nice little button hook here, and Sean Hill's coming on the one-timer. Right here is Healy, who sees what's coming down and decided he better get back out to help. Boy, he helped, but he paid a huge price.
Hennigan a chance, blocked by Curtis Joseph. And it certainly looks like it's going to be a game where Curtis Joseph is going to have to stand on his head, if not on his bad hand. That'll be flipped in from center by Gary Roberts, the 35-year-old veteran. He's got 17 points, second among NHL scorers. Roberts coming into tonight's game. Hennigan picks it back up, cleared up to the blue line and through center ice. Couldn't be handled by Battaglia. They've got that high-scoring line out there. What a job they have done with Cole, Battaglia, and Brendamore. Hennigan got it back through Höglund to the blue line and tipped back out through center.
Everybody wants to establish their game. Carolina's game is 5-on-5 grinding in the offensive corners with the big forecheck this cycle, walking it to the net. Because there have been 4-on-4 power plays, we haven't seen Carolina establish their game yet.
In a line change, Sammy Kapanen trying to catch Toronto, got a little blast, and he shot it wide. He didn't get it on net. Rebounded so hard it went right by Ronnie Francis. On the near side boards, kicked away. Kapanen waits for Francis to get on side. Open shot! I think he missed that one too.
He did, and you know what? He's squeezing it real hard, and he's cutting it fine. He has not scored in the playoffs after having a career season.
In the middle, Francis again. That went through a screen wide. Sammy Kapanen has played 13 playoffs games, all of them this year, and one last year, without scoring a goal. Chased back into the zone by Glenn Wesley. There'll be no ice passing here. Wesley had to play it behind the net. 15-year veteran gets crunched as he dropped it off. Toronto putting a couple of forecheckers up, and that's resulted in some errant passes by Carolina.
Yep, and you know, I talked about Carolina establishing their game. I'd like to tell you about Toronto establishing their game, but
what is it?
I don't know. They're so banged up. It's just a gutsy bend, don't break, look for their opportunities, wait for a guy like McGillney to maybe get it going. I mean, they're just opportunists right now because they have to be.
Jelena came in and put the hit on. This was the #3 offensive team in the league, Toronto, during the regular season, but almost all of that offense is out of the lineup and hurt. Third back up to the line. Was it held in? Yes. Has to be played off the far side boards and out. Tipped away by Twarikoski into the zone. Lead back to get it near side. Malik with it. Malik turns it. Looking. You see the job Toronto is doing. They're not giving any room, and they're doing a little trapping at center. Forcing the play. 3 of their defensemen coming over to cover.
And as long as there is pressure from behind on the back check, it's much easier for the defenseman to stand up and make a play on somebody. So good work.
Roberts got it in the middle, and a shot and a save by Irving to the corner. Good pass set up. Alan McCauley. McCauley's on a 4-game scoring streak. Tipped by Irving, but wide of the net. It got by Anders Irving, but it went wide. Down on the ice at the near end is Brent Hedican, who got hit in the face, and a penalty coming on it. Hedican went down at the side of the net. Rob Schick going over to see whether or not this is going to be more than a 2-minute minor. Looks like he is all right. We'll find out how many are going to go up on the board here. Game 1, Eastern Conference. 1-1, Canes and Hawks.
In the May issue of Airman Magazine, flying ambulances make sure troops wounded in Afghanistan receive top-notch medical care. See how the Air Force's armada of cargo aircraft keeps the front lines supplied. And find out why a Travis NCO satisfies his need for speed competing in motorcycle races. May's Airman Magazine. Pick it up now.
America's Air Force has a plane so advanced, it dominates everything in the air. Yet on radar, it's as small as a bird. The meanest, baddest bird on the planet. Join the team that keeps us flying. America's Air Force. No one comes close.
With all the paperwork we deal with every day, it makes sense to know which documents we should hang on to and which to discard. Training certificates and copies of medical records should be kept indefinitely, while documents such as tax records and receipts should be kept for 3 years or longer depending on your tax situation. Outdated recall rosters or expired leave requests can be thrown away once they've served their purpose. Knowing which documents to save and for how long can keep you from drowning in paperwork.
Center dumped off the near side boards and whistled for another draw at center in the offside. O'Neill at 3:23 for the Canes and McGillney at 7:02 to tie it for the Leafs.
Boy, you don't think games aren't full of peaks and valleys this time of year. Watch this, almost climbing a mountain for Toronto. The puck squeezed through Irbe and just trickled wide. Moments later, Alan McCauley with a high stick heads to the box. Now Toronto's on a penalty kill. If you can't control your emotions this time of year, you can't win.
Power play opportunity in the specialty teams. The deeper you go into the playoffs, the more important the specialty teams are. The Canes getting the power play opportunity. They have so far in the playoffs picked up 11 power play goals and 50 chances. This is their second opportunity of the game, and they scored on their first chance. They are 5th in the league among playoffs. Their third power play opportunity because we had a 2-man advantage for a short time, and then they went on a 5-on-4. Brandamore moves it back in. Brandamore dumped it all along front of the net. Joseph, it came free and is cleared to the near side. Ronnie Francis had an empty net for a moment, but he couldn't reach in to get it. Joseph lost control of it. Caberlet swept it out of the crease. So Caberlet gets a half a save on that one.
Okay, the goalies are even now.
Yes, right.
One each for pucks that are squeezed through.
Hill just able to keep that away from McGillney. That was dangerous. for the Canes. They get it back into the zone. Intended for Francis, taken by Corey Cross. Caberlet was there, lost control of it. Kapanen steps up to hold it in. Power play for the Canes. They've got a power play goal. Francis drops it off in behind the net. Their power play has been led by Brendamore, Francis, and O'Neill, all with 2 power play goals. Hill on top, shot deflected before it got to Curtis Joseph by Ronnie Francis into the seats. 30 left on the advantage.
Sammy Kapanen under the gun, flip to Rod Brindamore, but watch this pass. You don't have vision, you can't make the pass. Ron Francis had a tough time corralling the puck, and it bounced in the air, so he didn't really have a chance to aim this shot. He was just hoping. Well, he got a bit of an air. See, when it bounced, he just chipped it. And he chipped it right through Curtis Joseph, but Jeff O'Neill couldn't get there in time.
Good play by Caberlet to come in and help out his goaltender right there. 5:57 left here in the first period. Great action here in game 1. Off the face-off, Ronnie Francis won it back to the point. Power play still underway. Hedican on the ice. His chance blocked out deep. Came back to Hedican on the half wall. Hedican sends it. Got it away from Green. Lost in front. Green picked it up. Hedican had it and lost it. Comes back up to the point. Swung back deeper into the corner. Toronto wants it clear. They'll get it. Aki Berg sends it the length of the ice.
Aki Berg wanted it clear because he got stung. He is limping to the bench after blocking a shot.
You got to have enough people to put out a line and 2 sets of defensemen, I think. Centering pass right through the middle of Battaglia. Had his stick picked up and he went falling. And that's a 5-on-5. They do not convert on the power play chance, and it remains a 1-1 game. Roberts sent it, batted right back to him towards the corner by Hoagland to the point shot. Deflected near side. Another chance off the Dempsey shot from the point. And both of these teams trying to make the goaltenders work, and they are doing that. Washishek had it on the near side, lost control, played back up by Dempsey. They'll send it in. Roberts' line will stay out. Herbe played it up the near side, got it by Corey Cross into the middle. Deflected away from Jelena before he could move by McCollum. And Toronto starts again with Roberts already up ice. Sent on the deep dump in by Brian McCabe. Brian McCabe has led their team in shots, and he's 4th in the league in the playoffs in shots. Back through center, could not get to it. Curtis Joseph with that bad hand. Nevertheless, backhanded it up off the far side. Belak tried to get it out of there, ended up going onto the Toronto bench. Great to have you with us. Exclusive coverage of the Eastern Conference Finals. We are in Raleigh, North Carolina. The Canes and Leafs are tied at 1.
Hey, you look like you're close to your ideal weight. That's good, because how much you weigh can affect your blood pressure. And if your blood pressure is too high, it puts a strain on your whole body. If you are overweight, losing weight can reduce your blood pressure. Even losing just some of those extra pounds can help. So you see, maintaining your ideal weight is one of the most beneficial things you can do for your blood pressure. Not to mention your wardrobe.
The year was 1955, and it was a year of firsts for the U.S. military. The first nuclear-powered submarine, the Nautilus, began trials. In Norfolk, Virginia, the aircraft carrier USS Forrestal was commissioned, the first since World War II, and the first built with an angled flight deck. That year, the first B-52s entered operational service with the Air Force. And Operation Deep Freeze started as the U.S. military began building permanent facilities in Antarctica for scientific study. And military officials responded to criticism resulting from the Korean War by establishing the Military Code of Conduct. It was designed to govern the actions of Americans in battle and as prisoners of war, all part of serving our country in 1955.
Up our Southwest Airlines intermission report. John and Barry will be there. The Avs moving on. Barry will take a look at Peter Forsberg and Tippett. Congratulations. He goes to Denver.
Going to do a great job. Dave Tippett is going to have a long, successful NHL coaching career.
He was highly desired by more than one team. Off the far side boards, played into the middle by Jeff Farkas. Farkas, a 24-year-old rookie out of Amherst, New York. A lot of these players, like Farkas, never thought when they got to the third round they would be starting game 1 or the that they'd even be around. Well, with all the injuries, they're more than around. Let's check in again with Brian England. Brian.
Speaking of injuries, Gary, I said before at the start of the game that Curtis Joseph's got a bad left catching hand. Look at the warm-up. Not one shot to the catching hand. Obviously, his teammates are in on it. That's one of the most important areas to warm up on a goaltender, but they just didn't go there. One of the few shots during the game tonight that went to the catching glove side. See how he just sort of batted it down? That catching glove side almost never closes. I don't think he can do it.
He's got a garbage can lid inside his glove next to his hand.
Does, isn't he? He's playing it like the glove's a shield instead of a glove.
It's not really a catching glove. It's just a blocking glove. It's almost similar to the glove that he wears on his other hand, the flat blocker, so he just wants to knock pucks down.
He has risen to the occasion for Toronto as they've moved on in the playoffs and their players have been hurt. See, there it is again. He can't squeeze that glove. He just knocks it down and then tries to play it with a stick. But boy, that means there are rebounds sitting there.
The protection that he has in his glove, on his hand, really prohibits him from closing. It prevents him from closing his glove.
Ring finger on that glove hand. Francis drops it back to the point shot. Went wide near side. O'Neill out there has picked up the only goal so far for the Canes. 3:34 left to go here in the first period. O'Neill heads to the front of the net. Ronnie Francis trying to get it there. Kapanen, O'Neill, and Francis on this line for the Canes. It'll be moved back out through center on the deep dump by Toronto. And chased back by Hill, who took a big shot earlier in the game, but is back. Hill's playing 24.5 minutes a game. He leads Carolina in ice time, and he leads them in plus-minus with a +6. He's had a very good playoff year. Knocked away into the zone. Battaglia just dumped it deep. Bates Battaglia, 4 goals, 6 assists in the last 6 games. Battaglia's got the longest scoring streak of the playoffs going right now. Loose in the corner. Jam up with Erickson over there. Boy, some black and blue stuff going on. That's Cole. Cole can not only score, but he can make you feel bad.
That was Gary Roberts, though, really trying him on. And Eric Cole, you know, looks up and wants to emulate a guy like Gary Roberts. Well, that time, he got a little bit of a lesson from the old man.
Roberts can play with all the points he scored. Still is one of the most physical players left in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Ty Domi is missing tonight, as we showed you earlier. Speaking of physical play, he's out of there. Bad leg. Tried to practice this morning. Didn't last long in the ice. Kicked around the near side by Hoagland. And right now we're scrumming, and there's a penalty coming up behind the play, and it's going to be a holding call on Toronto.
It is a stick hold on Jonas Hoagland. And he held Brett Hedigan's stick when he was trying to actually move up.
Toronto, 2 minutes, holding the stick.
Want to remind you to join ESPN tonight, 12:30. It's called The Life. An all-access pass to athletes' lives off the field this week. NFL quarterback Jeff Garcia. What's he doing in San Francisco in the offseason? Find out. The Life tonight, 12:30 ESPN.
Big opportunity here for the Hurricanes. They can finish out the period with a power play. Jonas Hoagland right there, number 14 for the Leafs. Held long enough. And it prevented, the reason that was called is it prevented Brett Hedigan from getting to the puck and clearing the puck. So it gave Toronto an unfair advantage in that situation.
Canes get their 4th power play of the game. They have scored a power play goal, the one by O'Neill. They get their 4th power play of the first period right here. Cleared around the near side. Tipped back by Brendan Moore. Held in by O'Neill. O'Neill, they get it set up with Kapanen playing one of the points here. Dumped in behind the net. Knocked away by Caberlet. Does battle with Brendan Moore. O'Neill came in to help out. Ronnie Francis dug the puck out to the point. They play Francis up the hill back to him. See Toronto staying back in the box here. They're not coming out on top of the puck. Hill a one-timer. Deflected. O'Neill had an open net. Never got to him. Shot. Francis blocked by Caberlet. Up and over the glass. Still goes on after the whistle.
Little conference final friction here between Rod Brind'Amour and Shane Corson. Didn't take Brian McCabe long to dive in there to help out. You stick together, boy, if you're a Toronto Maple Leaf right now. That is another key to their success. One for all for one. Paul Maurice's guys have really leveled out a lot of the peaks and valleys in their game, and they're a much better team than they were at any point in the regular season. You don't get this far without being that great. Paul Maurice is a big Rod Brind'Amour fan for one reason. He's almost bionic. He never hits the wall. And on the bench, if you get caught, Paul Maurice said, if I get caught, let's say a center goes out, he's got to come right back off because of an equipment problem or a quick injury.
There's no panic. Paul Maurice just says, Rod, go. Because Rod Brindamore has a recovery time that is probably 2 to 3 seconds after every shift. He never hits the wall.
Pretty amazing. Brindamore, 106th playoff game. Only Ronnie Francis has played more playoff games with the Canes than he has. Francis playing his 149th. Sammy Cabot and O'Neill power play save off the shoulder. I think you are seeing Curtis Joseph devise new ways to play goal right now. He wants so desperately not to have that glove touch the puck. He did a body maneuver there in order to keep the glove away from it. He turned to the side, and he's been doing all sorts of things.
Well, he's not based on technique. No. He just finds athletic ways to stop the puck. So what's a couple of wrinkles in the format, right?
What's a half a body for a goaltender, right? That's all you need. Played back in behind the net. Ryan McCabe tried to intercept, could not. Minute left to go in the period. 40 left on the power play. Brindamore stays out there. Hill will dump that one in. Power play unit remains intact as started this power play. That goes into the seats.
Of course, you've always got to be thinking, and that means using your head. Right? Crunch. Right off the mask.
The Gumper would have said, what do you need a mask for?
Yeah, no, the Gumper would be lying down right there on his back on the ice with a trainer hovering over him.
I don't know how you did it.
But you see, Curtis Joseph didn't even try to get his glove up to his face. Now, that was a quick shot. I think he saw it come out of a screen, so he didn't have time. But given the option, he will find another way to stop it.
Power play still underway here. 30 seconds left to go in the advantage. 44 left to go in the period. Centered for Francis. Came back to the point. Near side Hedican. Hedican a wrister save. Joseph on Francis. And covered. Curtis Joseph thought that might have gone by on the short side. He got the body down and got it. Want to remind you to log on NHL Gamecast, live scoring, shot charts, game stats. Your way to cover every NHL playoff game. That's NHL Gamecast, ESPN.com.
Boy, if the Leafs can get out of this period with a tie, I think it's huge. I expect them to get better with each period. Curtis Joseph looked behind him. Funny, he dropped his stick to free up his right hand in case he needed to grab it, but in the process, could have come close to banging it in, but it looked like he picked it up visually and was able to squash it before he even touched it the wrong way.
Curtis Joseph, 35 years old. Hedican able to hold it in. Power play still has 14 seconds on it. We're in the final 26 seconds of the period. Ronnie Francis coming back to help. Looking to get it in front. Francis will work in the corner. Hedican back on top. Francis running out of time. Point shot, save made. Rebound off the stick of Curtis Joseph. Power play is over. Ronnie Francis looking into the middle. Shot blocked by Curtis Joseph before it got to Battaglia. And now a penalty behind the play. Oh, Corey Cross just put the glove to the face.
And you know what? Corey Cross, I don't think is going to get a penalty, but Eric Cole exposed his bare head for the team, and the Maple Leafs went for the bait. I believe Carolina will come out with another power play to start the second period. But big scoring chances on the power play. That was a missed shot by Aaron Ward that actually bounced and handcuffed Curtis Joseph. Threw it all Eric Cole. I don't need no stinking helmet. I'm a tough kid from Oswego. And because of Eric Cole's desire to compete even without his helmet, little face wash, he'll take it. He's got a power play coming.
That's about as bad a face wash. Dirty, smelly gloves. People at home have no idea how bad that feels to get that in your face. But for the Toronto Maple Leafs, this is something we've seen before.
We've seen it all playoffs long. They were outplayed. They were dominated. Power plays looked great for Carolina. They got the shots they wanted. They scored a power play goal. And yet the Leafs have worked and scratched and clawed and blocked shots. And it's 1-1 going in the second period. Great road period for the Leafs.
Doesn't seem to matter who is wearing the Leafs uniform.
What country they're in, doesn't matter.
Or what state or what earth. Stick around. When we come back, we'll talk about our state of mind in Barry Melrose. We'll look at the state of the Colorado Avalanche. It's pretty good thanks to that guy.
He was known to his country as Ike. Dwight D. Eisenhower became Commander-in-Chief as the 34th President of the United States, after being the Supreme Allied Commander in Europe during World War II.
So help me God.
Eisenhower began the war as a strategist. Shortly after Pearl Harbor, he went to Washington and became Chief Planner for the War Department. Armed with a broad understanding of the U.S. mission and strategies, Eisenhower was assigned to carry out that mission on the battlefield. He commanded victorious Allied operations in North Africa and Sicily. As Supreme Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Force, he directed the D-Day assault in 1944 and the campaign that led to Germany's surrender. He received his 5th star in December 1944. Dwight D. Eisenhower, Supreme Commander, General of the Army, Commander-in-Chief.
Every time an adult gives up on our kids, every time we surrender to the belief that their future is out of our hands, every time we say, their problems aren't my problem, another child is left behind. I'm General Colin Powell, and I don't believe in giving up. That's why I'm heading America's Promise, a movement that gives adults just like you and me the chance to get involved and help our kids develop the character and competence they need. Reach out. Join America's Promise. Whoever you are, wherever you are, you can do something important.
Log on to americaspromise.org and find out how you can help in your hometown. Or give us a call.
Pull your weight. The future of our kids is riding on it.
Shut up and dance!
The Simpsons, 7 p.m. AFN Fridays.
This intermission report is presented by Southwest Airlines, official airline of the National Hockey League.
Toronto and Carolina tied at 1 apiece after one period of play. Game number 1 of the Eastern Conference Final. John Saunders alongside of Barry Melrose. In the West, we now know it will be Colorado against Detroit. Detroit's been waiting for almost a week. It will be a week come Saturday when they play Game 1. But the thing that stands out most about this playoffs, and I'm talking about all stories right now, is Peter Forsberg does not play a game during the regular season. He's been the best player.
I thought that hurt my career, too, having to play the regular season.
It killed you.
This guy is unbelievable. Last night, right there is the slash from Timo Solani. That goes back 100 years. The Finns hate the Swedes, still do, as you can see. But that did not hurt Peter Forsberg. Dropped the glove, put a little ice on it, swore a couple times. Everything was good. A little bit later, you're going to see what makes this guy special. Hands, he scored 2 goals, exact same move, in the exact same spot. There's the overtime winner in Game 6 from a guy called Joe Sakic. There's the winner in Game 7. He's a finisher. Not only a great passer, but he also goes to net. Right here, you see the hands behind the net, brings it out in front. Defenseman's mad, but that doesn't matter. That guy just gets the job done offensively. What makes him special from other goal scorers and offensive players is his physical bite. He's nasty. He's not nice to play against. That was a turning point in the game, I felt. No one got hurt there. Was never the same player. He finishes his check. He wins physical battles. He scores goals. He can set people up. He kills penalties. He blocks shots. I personally think he's the best all-around player in the NHL, John.
He certainly has been in the playoffs. Now, I made this analogy to somebody earlier today. Josh Gibson, the great baseball player in the Negro Leagues, and of course, Satchel Paige said he was going to strike him out. He gave him 3 balls and then struck him out on the next 3 pitches. That's kind of like Patrick Waugh to me. It's almost as if he says, I want to be in a position where I'm vulnerable before I give you my best.
You know what he does? He puts himself in a position, just like you said, to test himself and to challenge himself, to prove to everyone that he's the greatest. And I think he is the greatest goaltender of all time. The numbers bear it out in regular season and in the playoffs. And look at Patrick right here. Technique, that's a butterfly technique. He perfected it. Every French-Canadian goaltender in Quebec uses it. He's always square to the shooter. He's always aggressive. He's never back in his net. What I like about Patrick, too, the rebounds are controlled. He always knows where the puck is off his body. Usually it's cleared to the side or in the corner, like you saw right there. His counterpart in the Red Wing, nothing's technique about this guy. He stops the puck anyway, anyhow. He goes side to side. The pads are flopping. He turns upside down. Semi-butterfly. Right here, turnover. That's a patent that's Hasek move onto his back, flinging his arms here and there. Bottom line is they both stop the puck. But here's the thing right here. Dominic Hasek went to win the Stanley Cup that Patrick Roy is raising. What's interesting, John, Dominic Hasek has won the Worlds. He's won a gold medal. Patrick Roy has won 4 Stanley Cups and 3 Conn Smythes. They both won what the other guy wants. Patrick wants to win the Olympics, win the world. Dominic wants to win a Stanley Cup and a Conn Smythe. So it's very interesting. These 2 great goaltenders, probably the 2 greatest goaltenders of modern time, are chasing each other's dreams.
I was trying to think. You probably have to go back to the original 6 to see a matchup of goaltenders with this much prowess.
And never have faced each other. We were hoping they'd face each other in the Olympics this year. And, of course, with Patrick not going to Olympics, that never materialized. So finally, we get these 2 guys. Patrick will challenge himself playing against Dominic Hasek. He wants to prove that he's the best goaltender in the world. He wants to prove to everybody in Europe he's the best goaltender in the world. Dominic Hasek wants to prove to everyone that he's better than Patrick Roy and that he can lead a team to the Stanley Cup. The only thing Dominic Hasek hasn't done, and that's why he went to Detroit. And what I love about Dominic, he said that's why he went to Detroit.
Back to the days of Gump Worsley and Terry Sawchuk and Johnny Bauer.
I'm not quite as old as you, John. I can't remember those guys.
The original 6. Come on, you were staying up nights watching those guys the same as I was. Right now, we've got a 1-1 game, the Leafs and the Canes.
In our last episode, Emma and Ambrose came from an appointment with their transportation counselor, Sergeant Hargrove, who explained that their unaccompanied baggage would be packed and shipped separately from the household goods. As today's episode begins, Emma is deciding what items to declare as unaccompanied baggage, which, of course, are things they will need immediately upon arrival.
Bedclothes for sure, and a clock to wake us up. Cookery and china. Health and hygiene. Some things to prepare us for a different climate. And something to remind us of home.
Join us next time when Emma and Ambrose discuss unaccompanied baggage and accompanied tours. Until then, I'm Alistair McAllister. Thank you for watching Master PCS Theater.
Every child is an individual, a unique blend of talents and different interests. It's important to recognize those differences by getting involved and showing your support. It's a way of letting your children know you care, because taking the time to see the world through their eyes can mean a world of difference to them.
The 37th Annual Country Music Awards. Will Brooks and Dunn, Faith Hill, Garth Brooks, Martina McBride, Tim McGraw, Toby Keith.
I want to talk about me.
All be winners. Be there as all of country music's greatest stars come out for the hottest ticket in town.
Wow.
The 37th Annual Country Music Awards. AFN May 24th.
Airlines intermission report. John Saunders and Barry Melrose here between the first and the second period, and Barry joins me again in just a moment. But first, Dave Tippett is the new head coach of the Dallas Stars. He spent the last 3 years as an assistant with the Los Angeles Kings. His special teams, including the power play, they were #1 this year, 24th before he got there. Barry, this looks like a pretty good hire.
Well, it's a good hire. Doug Armstrong is a first-year GM for Dallas. He's going to hire a coach who's never coached before so they can grow into the job together and get a really good relationship together. And this isn't the reason he was hired. He's done a good job. He's been in the minors one. He's been in the NHL and done a good job. But he's an offensive-minded coach that stresses offense first, defense second. So that's going to be easier for them to sign offensive free agents this summer, knowing that that's an offensive system now in place in Dallas.
You wonder what that means for the New York Rangers, who had Tippett on their list and Ken Hitchcock on their list. Looks like it may come down to Herb Brooks as the new head coach of the Rangers.
Miracle on ice.
I was going to say, welcome back. 1-1 after 1.
Just 100 years ago, this sun-baked, sleepy farm community was just a dusty stop on the coast road to San Francisco. But that was before a land developer's wife helped sell lots by bestowing a more fanciful name on the place. It wasn't just the name that made Hollywood a success. America's budding film industry found the inexpensive real estate and inexhaustible sun a match made in Hollywood heaven. By the 1920s, many of the movie industry's biggest names had permanently settled in. And as the industry grew, so too did this one-of-a-kind American experience. The Dreamland, the Tinseltown, the Star Factory we call Hollywood.
AFN Primetime Tonight.
Hey, Dad, will you help me build this model rocket?
Homer builds Bart a rocket. But when that explodes, it's back to the drawing board.
I didn't know your dad was so interested in science.
Then, after That 70s Show and Survivor, Sydney is trapped behind enemy lines.
I'm at the safe house.
Viewers in Korea will see The Agency.
Keep up the good work.
Alias in Europe and Japan. The Agency in Korea. AFN Primetime Tonight.
Star Wars is back in full force with Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
And an accidental meeting leads to infidelity and obsession. Richard Gere stars in Unfaithful.
On the next, Ebert and Roper.
AFN Sundays.
The first captain.
Request permission to get underway. Take her out, Mr. Mayweather.
The first trek into the final frontier.
Neptune and back in 6 minutes.
Enterprise.
Down the road, how about Saturday on ABC, the Avs and the Wings? Wings probably have 9 or 10 guys going to the Hall of Fame.
And I quickly counted up Colorado, and I think there's at least 6 or 7 on Colorado that's going to the Hall of Fame eventually, but not quite as quick.
This is the series everyone wanted. You've got it. Game 1 on ABC at 3 on Saturday.
One more?
Even the smallest amount of alcohol can affect your reaction time.
Round 2 coming up.
A fraction of a second may not mean much in here. But out on the road, the stakes are much higher.
What is your name? John Kelly, sir. John Kelly. What is your rank?
When questioned, should I become a prisoner of war, I'm required to give name, rank, service number, and date of birth.
Staff Sergeant John Kelly. Staff Sergeant John Kelly. What is your unit?
I will evade answering further questions to the utmost of my ability.
Staff Sergeant John Kelly. What is your unit? You have been charged with the killing of innocent women and children if you do not sign this document. Don't you understand? You're bombed an unarmed city. You'll be charged with war crimes. You'll sign this document and you'll sign it now.
I will make no oral or written statements disloyal to my country and its allies or harmful to their cause.
No, sir.
Article 5 of the Code of Conduct.
No, sir.
Survive with honor.
Okay, ladies and gents, now here's the latest on that new government contract. Now, until this war is over, we're not going to be the manufacturers of the finest silk blouses in the country. We're going to be the manufacturers of the finest parachutes in the world. Now, this ain't going to be easy. It means changing some of our work methods to meet government specifications because they only want the best.
During World War II, all across the country, manufacturers large and small rallied to the war effort. American technology, backed by the determination and will of ordinary people, built the industrial might necessary for us to win the war.
Now, I've never used a parachute. I never want to use one. But I know that each and every one of you is going to do what's necessary to win this thing and bring our troops back home safely. Now, here's the new work plan.
The civilian labor force supported the war efforts back on the home front.
Katie and Matt, Al and Dan, first on your TV.
know you.
My Wife and Kids is on AFN.
Really?
Yeah. Duh. Oh, it's on.
Saturdays. My Wife and Kids.
It's the bomb diggity boo boo boo.
ESPN's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs is brought to you by Dockers Dress Casuals, by Best Buy. For the latest technology, turn on the fun at Best Buy. And by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
Welcome back, everybody. Raleigh, North Carolina. Gary Thorne, Bill Clement, and Brian Ingram as we get set for the second period. The Canes and Leafs are tied at 1-1. O'Neill unassisted. Carolina scored first, then McGillney at 7:02. Caberlet got the assist, and it is a 1-1 game.
Well, I'll tell you what, Toronto's got to stay out of the box. They had 32 seconds of power play time. Carolina 5 minutes and 33 seconds of power play time, and they're on another one.
Right at the end of the period, McCabe got the roughing call, so at the 20-minute mark, his penalty goes on. This is the 5th power play chance of the game for Carolina as we start the second period. Curtis Joseph will cover that one with Rod Brendamore moving in, and we are underway here in the second period. Toronto's fortunate. They are not shy 2 players to start the second period.
Yep, one penalty is enough. Corey Cross took Eric Cole to the front of the net. Then Brian McCabe gave him the big push. Corey Cross decided to give him the old smelly face, the smelly face wash, and Corey Cross was not called.
Apparently that particular motion is not covered in the rule book.
Well, the face wash from that angle is okay.
Or if you have a beard.
Yeah, but if you're standing beside the guy, it's no good.
Okay. Just want to clarify that. Here's Hill on the power play working one of the points. Ronnie Francis along the half wall. Brendamore on the power play as well. Side of the net, centered, intercepted, not cleared. That went off Brendamore's skates on the attempted clear by Aki Berg.
Well, I don't think Carolina's got many options on this power play with 3 left-hand shots up front.
No.
And they try to set it up from the left, but when you got Rod Brendamore on the far side of the net, he's on his backhand. You can't do a backdoor play, a play through the crease. So watch this, they're going to get one right here.
Bates Battaglia working behind the net right now. They've got nobody in the slot area. Good job here in the corner by Corey Cross, battling away. Hill held it in. Francis at the dot. Drops it. Heads to the net. Brendamore back. One-timer. Hill broke a stick. Rebound. Covered. Shot. Save made. Joseph deflected it to the near side. Shots in the game are 15-8 in favor of the Hurricanes to start this period. Again, Francis leads it. Now you see Toronto moving out of that 4-man box. They're coming out on the puck, something they didn't do in the first period. Kapanen drops it back for Francis. They drop back a little bit now. Centering pass right through everybody to the far side. But Toronto cannot clear the puck. These units have been out there since the start of the power play for a minute and a half. Ronnie Francis dropped it. Backhand. Saved by Curtis Joseph. Rebound. Joseph will cover it up and get a whistle.
Well, it's the second period, so it's the long change. The bench is far away. And if Toronto doesn't clear the puck, not only do they not get a chance to change, but the power play doesn't change. Big blast on a broken stick from the point, and Bates Battaglia with a redirection and then point blank. Looked like he might have been trying to chip it up and over the pad of Curtis Joseph, but it never left the ice.
What a playoff. During the regular season, Battaglia was 111th in points scored. He's tied for 5th among playoff point men this year. That's a pretty good upcoming when you need it most. Both teams changing up specialty units. 22 left on the power play. This is game 1. Only 4 teams left in the National Hockey League playoffs, of course, in the race for Lord Stanley's Cup. Caberlet cleared it around the near side. Face-offs in the first period were 70% in favor of the Hurricanes. They had 4 power plays to 1, and they outshot Toronto. The result, 1-1. Near side, Ronnie Francis. 2 in front of the net. Francis shot. Got blocked into the corner. Anders Eriksson blocked that one. But Toronto still has not cleared the puck here on this power play, and it's over. They never got the puck out of the zone on Carolina's power play.
And Ronnie Francis never left the ice in the power play at age 39.
Roberts moved it out. We're back to 5-on-5. 3 shots on that power play chance. And the Canes are now 1 for 5 on the power play in this game. And we remain tied at 1 apiece. That ups the shots to 18-8 now in favor of Carolina. Backed in, down the middle. Hedican had a chance. Deflected. Backhand pass came right back to him. Hedican leaves it in the middle. Again, Cole had to turn it into the corner. A lot of battling going on in front of the net. Cole's chance wide. Chased down far side. Nathan Dempsey. Dempsey dropped it back. Didn't have anybody there. Joseph, 26 and dropped down. Fans want to call. They're not going to get it. It'll be moved up by the Leafs to Roberts. Roberts through center. They want to change. Penalty coming in the Canes. Curtis Joseph is already over on the bench. Toronto trying to keep control of it. There's the whistle and a power play coming for Toronto. So the specialty teams continue to dominate.
Eric Cole. Holding is the call. I thought Eric Cole had drawn another penalty. Not so. Wasicek taking down Corey Cross in behind. There's the blind side there. It looked like Eric Cole got a little side swipe from Jonas Höglund. I just clicked him accidentally. I still haven't seen the hold. Was that the hold that we had on the first replay? Because I didn't see it.
Wasicek got the call on the hold at the 3-minute mark here. So I think it was on that first play. That's Cole, who's gone to the bench. Josef Wasicek, the 21-year-old Czech Republic, is out of there in the second power play of the game now for Toronto. So they get the chance. This has been all specialty teams with all these power plays so far in this game. Something neither team, if you asked them before the game, would have wanted to get into. Carolet takes it back in behind the net. Will start it up ice. For Toronto, 3 power play goals for Gary Roberts leads them this playoff year. Round the near side. They'll have Carolet at the point. Steps up to hold it in and lost and cleared out of there. Couldn't be held onto by Travis Green. Green's got 3 goals, 6 assists. Working the half boards on the power play. Canes change up on their penalty killing unit. Carolet moves it back into the middle. Carolina penalty killing 10th among the playoff teams coming into this game. And Toronto can't get it set up.
Toronto will not get it set up unless they hard rim, because there's nothing in the middle of the ice. The Carolina Hurricanes are taking away all of those attempted passes to the middle.
Toronto 14th on the power play among the playoff teams, right near the bottom. And boy, there's a bad pass. Adams knocked it away, but Carolet just dropped that on his own blue line. Had nowhere to go with it. Sent back in off Hennigan's stick. Faced down in the corner by Höglund, who got hit. Centered back into the middle. Carolet's open, got his man down. Carolet turning, dropped it back to the point. Shot, and it's deflected wide. Big pile up in front of the net. Rebounded back to Carolet. Drops it wide point, one-timer. That one again wide of the net. 2 for Brian McCabe. 2 shots. McCabe goes down and puts a hit on. And the penalty coming up. It may be on McCabe. McCabe put the check on. It was a football block on Kevin Adams. Can't get 5 men out there.
It is turning into a power play fest. Brian McCabe, he got enough of Kevin Adams to be called.
Let's check in downstairs. Brian Engblom, see what's going on at ice level. Brian.
Gary, let's take a look at the goaltending style at Arthur Zerbe and how it affected him in that first period on the only goal that's eluded him so far. For Toronto, it was just a good okay to shoot and go for the rebound. Now, Arthur Zerbe is not a very big goaltender, so when he gives up rebounds into the prime scoring area, look how much room he has to cover. A good 10 feet or so. At 5'8", 190 pounds, once he pushes off, sometimes he's going to slide right past the point. That, in fact, is what he did. So, in that type of situation, he must control the rebound.
Well, that's why I've always felt there should be traction spikes on goalie pads, so that they don't slide through. It might be a little dangerous, but the odd traction spike would really spice things up.
We don't see many clipping calls in hockey, but that's what this is. The rule: a player may not deliver a check in a clipping manner, nor lower his body position to deliver a check on or below an opponent's knee.
And I think that's the right call. And Brian McCabe didn't mean to catch him with his shoulders and his helmet, which he did, but he still caught him in the legs and took him down.
4-on-4 for 27 seconds, and then the Hurricanes will get another power play. 4:34 clipping called on McCabe. Face off to the right of Curtis Joseph. They were led by Brendamore 5 out of 8 on the face-offs in that first period. Canes will get that one back in the corner. Sent around the near side boards by Eric Cole. Still a 4-on-4 shot. Curtis Joseph came out. Then Wesley got a chance. Joseph, a weird angle save right there. 10 seconds left in the 4-on-4. Toronto wants to get it deep into the zone. Green does. Irbe has it back there. Green came around, couldn't get to it in time. Power play now for Carolina. They've got a minute 34 power play time. It is their 6th of the game. Cole moves it in. Cole, they try and get it set up here. They've got Battaglia behind the net. Caberlet took it away from him. Couldn't control it. Sammy Kapanen now. Kapanen looking in front. Ronnie Francis. Pass to him blocked. Francis has played both half wall and down low. Shot wide by Hill on the deflection. Carolina's been able to just hold this puck in the zone, though, and get chances in the last 2 power plays. Brendamore goes to the high slot. Francis comes over and knocked away by Shane Corson. Francis down in the ice. Cole came in to help.
But anytime it ends up in the other corner, the Hurricanes have to change the point of attack to this corner.
The defensemen were changing sticks in front of the net. They're still doing it. Anders Eriksson had lost his stick. The puck came through the middle, and the two of them were changing sticks.
And Shane Corson is the guy that ends up without one, and he's up high.
That was good. The baton handoff was going on while the puck was being shot into the crease. Power play stolen away. Battaglia back to a point. Shot by Hill. Blocked out deep by Green.
Oh, that is crucial. If Sean Hill misses Travis Green, Shane Corson is still caught out there without a stick because the linesman, or at least the ref, and it was Dan Mararelli, moved it all the way to the corner so that Corson couldn't get it.
Back into the middle. O'Neill has got the goal. Heads to the front. Pass to O'Neill. Deflected. Power play still underway. 15 left on it. Hill goes back on top. Kapanen, the shot. Save made. Joseph deflected to the corner. Dempsey gets it up to the point and out. So 2 players on this short-handed unit's work for Toronto. And that's going to do it on the power play. 1 shot on their 6th power play chance of the game for Carolina. And it remains a 1-1 game. Hedican down the middle. His drop pass got deflected. Chance for a 2-on-2 the other way. McGillney won't get to it, though. Cleared out of the zone. And they brought it back in offside, and that'll draw the whistle. Great to have you with us. Great start to the Eastern Conference matchup. Hurricanes and Leafs 1-1.
Hi, folks. This is country music singer Brad Paisley.
I can still see everything just fine. Who needs pictures with a memory like mine?
I've led a fortunate life where my hard work brought me the kind of attention that got me where I am today. You've worked hard, too, and made sacrifices while you've been in the military. And you can let your family and friends back home know about that with a hometown news release. You see, whenever something good happens in your military career, stop by your public affairs office and fill out a hometown news release. Why? Because Brad Paisley and your hometown care.
Yeah, who needs pictures with a memory like mine?
Hi, I'm Jack Hanna, host of Animal Adventures, and this little guy is an American crocodile who has survived here for millions of years. He's one of over 100 endangered species living on military bases and training ranges. With the help of military and civilian volunteers, his natural habitat is being restored and protected. Wherever you're stationed, ask your command how you can volunteer to protect our environment and natural resources for our future, your children's, and his.
Well, this is funny unless you're the guy out there that broke his stick. And in this case, it's Anders Eriksson of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Went for Corson. Corson said, no, pick your own up. What Corson didn't know was that Eriksson's was broken. He snapped it in the shaft, and finally, Corson gave it up to him, and the switch was made.
Pretty good action. Robert Reichel, the face-off win. Dumped back into the corner. Back for it. Malik lost it at the point. Toronto doing work in the corners now. Malik knocks that one down. Get it up the far side. Washachek trying to clear it out of there. Held in by Wade Belak. Belak centered around the near side board. Toronto trying to find some offense now with this 5-on-5 after they kill off a couple of penalties here. And have their own power play chance at the start of this second period, 7.5 minutes into it. And this will be chased for the icing call and the whistle. Don't forget our Dodge intermission report upcoming during our second intermission. Detroit's gritty guys going back to work on Saturday. Barry will have the breakdown and the Stanley Cup flashback all coming up. Gary Thornbill, Clement, Brian Engblom here in a new hockey land, Carolina. These fans have lined up to get tickets, filled the house up, and are really enjoying what's happening here. Yes, they do have cheerleaders here in Kane Country.
I wish that would kind of catch on everywhere.
I knew you'd say that. Third back out to center in the basketball tradition.
I just like cheering.
Aki Berg, sure. Up on the far side, it'll be held in by Manick into the corner. Back to get a Corey Cross. Cross in front of his own netminder. Curtis Joseph going at enough problems. Take it somewhere else. Curtis Joseph, as we said, his play has just gotten better and better. He's had to make 19 saves on 20 shots so far in this game. And not surprising with the number of injuries to Toronto that Carolina's come out here and had the shot advantage. Daniels got hit on the near side, stepping up and held in. Wheeling, a penalty coming up. It's going to be on Toronto. There's the whistle. Daniels down. And Toronto is short-handed again. Aki Berg arguing.
Toronto's going to start thinking conspiracy here, but most of these have been... Right.
Toronto, 2 minutes for Hurricane.
I'm not even going to say most of them. All of them have been legit. But the story in this game is quickly developing. And it is Toronto's penalty killing doing really well, which had really let them down so far in the playoffs. It's one of their weak points. And Carolina's power play failing. There was the hook by Aki Berg. And Pat Quinn just waved it away, saying, come on, give us some even strength time here. I used to own a touch like that one on the left, Garrett. What about you?
I had the one on the right.
All right.
The fall look. Aki Berg is out of there, 8:08 on the hooking call. And the Carolina Hurricanes, now the pressure turns to their power play because they're getting so many chances. Their 7th power play of the game. They went 4 for 21 against New Jersey and 6 for 28 against Montreal.
Which are both pretty good.
Not bad. But right now they're going to pile up as many power plays as they had in those series in this game. Cleared back up. Toronto penalty killers are back to work. Ronnie Fance's far side. We've had very little 5-on-5 hockey here in this period. Kapanen had to drop it back. Endemore skating even deeper, trying to help out as Hill took it back into the zone. Now Kapanen's going back. Over to Hill. Hill slipped a little bit there. Forcing the play. Toronto's going to change up before Carolina got over the red line. Kapanen moves it in. Dumped it off the near side wall to get it sent up O'Neill. See who they set up in front. Brendamore near side never got there. Caberlet takes it away. Needs a lane.
See, they were trying to get it to this side to set up.
There's Francis. Save made. Covered up by Curtis Joseph.
2 left-handers and a right-hander out there on the power play for Carolina, so they still need to set it up to Curtis Joseph's left to have all their options in place. So anytime you see the Carolina Hurricanes power play with mostly their left-handers up front, they will take it from the far corner to the near corner over to Joseph's left, and that's where they get set up. But obviously Toronto knows that's what they're trying to do, and they're just going to try to cut as many passes coming over to the right setup side.
Ronnie Francis, their leader, 3 goals, 6 assists, 39-year-old. He'll take the face-off. To the right of Curtis Joseph. Francis went 5 out of 7 on face-offs first period. A late change by Toronto is not going to be allowed here.
Well, it's just a stick change by Corey Cross, and he smartly was able to buy time somehow. Maybe by breaking his own stick.
Position
happens.
Has been out there a lot. But Cross gets a little bit of time. That allows Green to rest. Francis will take the face-off against it. Green has been their best draw man. Wins another one back. Green has been magnificent. 65% in face-offs. #1 in the playoffs is Travis Green in face-off wins. Now he's trying to clear it out. Ronnie Francis, though, picked that puck away. Good play by Francis to hold it in. 58 seconds left on the Carolina power play. Couldn't be cleared around by Erickson. Up the near side, Hill. Blocked again along the wall. Toronto just finding it impossible, though, to get the puck out. You see 3 Carolina Hurricanes converge over there once they lose possession, and then they get it back. Battaglia over to Kapanen, back to Battaglia, who set a pick for Francis, got it in front, shot, that got blocked straight up in the air, and finally he cleared out of there. Green got it out, then Green hooks the man down behind the play. No call on that one, though. Power play still's got 27 on it. Shot way wide by Kapanen. Battaglia pushed into the wall. Francis moves in to get the puck. Ronnie Francis has it. He's taking the hits from behind by Brian McCabe. 15 left on the power play. Puck got left in the corner. Francis knocked it off the dasher to Cole to Francis. Francis in front. Goes back onto the point to Hill. Hill a chance. Save made. Cole looking. Covered by Curtis Joseph. Action has been around the crease in this game. Let's take a look at our Visa storyline. Jeff O'Neill, third goal of the playoffs. First in 12 playoff games prior to this year. Alexander McGillney, eighth goal of the playoffs for the 5 Maple Leafs goals. The last 5 scored by him.
Our Visa replays. Even though the Carolina Hurricanes have had a boatload of power plays, they only scored on this one. Early in the first period, Jeff O'Neill gave the Canes a 1-0 lead. And then Alexander McGillney picking up his own rebound and tying it. Our Visa storyline in the replays. All of the offense in this game so far. That does not mean there haven't been good scoring chances, especially for Carolina on their power play. The Leafs penalty killers are trying to rewrite their own book in the playoffs because they were subpar. Not only did they allow 16 goals in the first 2 series, they didn't score a shorthander. Biggest part of your penalty kill, goaltending. Curtis Joseph, a wall.
Carolina's power play was 12th during the regular season. Dive taken by McGillney. He looks like he gets back up. McGillney started up ice and got hauled down. There he is at center trying to turn the play, and he did. Alexander McGillney. McGillney looking for Roberts in the middle. 5-on-5 power play now. Back on top. Shot Caberlet safe. Rebound Irbe trying to find it. Loose. Roberts hooked into the corner. Roberts had the opportunity. McCauley got it. McGillney back for Roberts. Blocked on the far side. McCabe able to hold it in. Now the pressure by Toronto. We're back to 5-on-5. Caberlet. A wrister shot. Irbe got there to block it. And he got some help out in front defensively from Aaron Ward. Cleared in offside by the Leafs, and it'll be called intentional with a face-off in the other end.
Boy, the Leafs come charging back after their penalty kills. Alexander McGillney now officially dangerous. He's got help too. Alan McCauley, Gary Roberts, anybody in blue.
Some like it hot, some like it hard. Some like it hot, some like it hard.
Welcome to Point Other Point, our subject, legal residence. We begin with you, Jane.
It's obvious that a service member's legal residence has to be the last state that person was stationed before going overseas.
Jane, you ignorant.
No.
My uninformed colleague would deny our men and women in uniform the right to choose their legal residence. But it's as plain as the United States Constitution. They can pick a new one anytime they want to, because that's the American way.
Actually, I'm afraid you're both confused. A service member's legal residence is not necessarily where they were last assigned, and it certainly does not change automatically with every move or just because they want it to change.
Are you telling me that these fine Americans can't change their legal residence?
Of course they can, but only if they meet specific requirements.
So you're putting the burden entirely on their shoulders?
Well, it's their decision, but the legal office would be more than happy to advise them, and that must be our final point.
Join us next time as we discuss daylight savings time. Whose daylight are we saving? And is somebody getting shortchanged?
Be with us as we get down to the final 4, and somebody is going to be chasing the cup from these two teams, Bill.
And, you think Carolina is the team that's got the advantage, but the Toronto Maple Leafs have just shown us with a string of penalty kills that they're part Teflon and part Kevlar. And Kevlar is that bulletproof stuff.
They're playing it tough, and that's going to be touched up on the icing call, but a penalty to go with it. There was an icing call to come on this, but a penalty was also being called in the near side corner.
Oh, it's Toronto again? Gary Roberts went, who, me? I think Gary Roberts got the answer that he wanted, and the answer was, no, not you, this time.
This time.
Because it looked like Gary Roberts went, me? Wow. No, it's Aaron Ward that's headed to the sin bin.
Carolina's hooking.
Third power play coming for Toronto. This will be the 10th power play of the game combined for these two teams. We're only halfway through the second period.
Hope you got your special teams ready to go, coaches. There was the takedown by Aaron Ward. Gary Roberts made kind of a desperation stab at the puck and looked like he might have hit somebody in the ankle with a stick, and that might have been why he was saying, is it me?
They are a little skittish about that now, aren't they? Power play, Ward hooking, 10:58. Power play number 3 for Toronto. They are 0 for 2 on the power play in this game. Toronto regular season was 50 on their power play. As that really dropped down. Carolina, though, is 20th on the shot. Almost short-handed goal on the rush.
That dump in bounced and bounced and bounced and never stopped until Kevin Adams had a scoring chance. He even bounced back out front.
Right in front of Curtis Joseph on Toronto's power play. Green back up on top to Caberlet. Caberlet leaves it. Travis Green. Green will come to the top. Green takes it. Trying to pass to the far side wall on McGillney, who's out that post over there, rather. Caberlet gets it back. McGillney, there he is on the offside. They're trying to set him up for a one-timer. Just held in along the near side. That was close, McCabe. Now it is cleared. And 19 to go on the advantage. Headed for 70 on the power play for the Leafs.
Now that it's cleared, everybody can stop booing.
Yeah. Back up the other way. Played up by Joseph to Caberlet. Caught Carolina changing. And bounced in off the wall to Hoagland. Hoagland takes it away from Hennigan, trying to get it back to the point. Brendamore partially blocked that. Played in the middle. McCabe leads it. Caberlet in. Caberlet dropped it. Backhand chance. Centered. No, couldn't connect with Roberts. And Hennigan clears it out.
Boy, Brett Hennigan can get to a lot of loose pucks. He's got one of the great skating strides in the NHL and has got a great burst for a defenseman. Should be a forward.
44 seconds left on the Toronto advantage. Alan McCauley moved it in. Got swept away and out of the zone. Tommy Westland on the penalty killing unit. Westland getting some specialty time out there. Caberlet brings it back in. Glove down into the middle. Shot fanned on as McCauley went through the middle. McCauley, Hoagland, Roberts on the power play unit. Brendamore trying to take it away from Hoagland. Did. They got Caberlet open again. Instead they go on top Dempsey. He'll drop it off. They set two up in front of the net. One-timer. Score! Deflected in front. Toronto takes a 2-1 lead. The argument by Irbe that the stick was up over the head of the shooter. But Rob Schick saying no, at least for now.
I think Dan Maruelli signaled immediately upstairs. He was pointing up to the ceiling, I think, to say this is going to be reviewed. Then he put his hand up to his ear as if he was going to go to the phone, and that's exactly where he has gone.
Cannot have the stick above the crossbar on a deflection. And this will require a replay because that was bang-bang.
We're a long way off, but it sure looked close to me. Nice puck movement, though. Nathan Dempsey just ripped this. From that angle, you can't tell, but it's going to be close, isn't it?
Get your measuring stick out. Yeah. Is this above the crossbar? Oh, mercy.
Can't tell from that angle. We need to... That angle, it looked like no, but remember, we're higher than the crossbar.
And remember, it's where he touches the puck.
Yeah. Jonas Hoagland was the guy with the deflection, by the way. Lest we forget who scored the goal. Man, is that close.
I think that's a goal.
I think it is, too. That's the replay, though.
That's the one right there. We have never been able to get a good answer from the NHL. There's Andy Van Hellemond, head of the referees. If the official has not signified goal, and they did not, what's the rule? The video replay judge has to make the decision anew, or is it a no goal unless it's definitive off the replay?
Well, I know Dan Maruelli immediately pointed into the air, and this is going to count. And I think that Andy Van Hellemond saw the same replay as we did, that last one, which is from ice level. This one, watch it. All those other ones were deceiving. That one looked like it never was higher than the crossbar. So Jonas Hoagland was able to deflect a laser, and the resilient Toronto Maple Leafs have just found a way to take the lead here in a game that they shouldn't even be in.
They're outshot 23-13. The power plays are 7-3 in favor of Carolina, but the power play goal puts them ahead. Hoagland gets it, and it is 2-1 in favor of the Leafs. It'll be touched up on an icing call. Malik came back to get it. So Hoagland got it on the deflection, and the Leafs have the lead for the first time in this game. He celebrates. Tomorrow it's Ladies' Day. Baltimore's Pimlico Racetrack. ESPN complete coverage of the black-eyed Susan Stakes. It's the 127th running of the showcase for 3-year-old fillies. 5 Eastern on ESPN.
What a scary team to have to play, the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're banged up, terribly banged up. They've been through 2 game 7s. They were down 3-2 in the last one. They remind me of that movie Creature, the bad creature in that nightmare you have that you think you've killed. And finally, the hand comes out of the ground and grabs you by the ankle and drags you under again. When you think it's dead, you cannot kill this team in blue. There's something going on there.
They are amazing. 12:45, Hoagland's 4th of the playoff year. Dempsey and Roberts pick up the assists on it, we think, on the power play goal. That's the initial call. One thing we know, it's 2-1 Leafs with 6:50 to go here in the second period. Keep in mind, Carolina's not lost a playoff game this year with a scored first, which they did in this game. They're 5-0 with this playoff season. Cleared back up by Reichel, who got it into the middle, and it just be flipped in by Green wide of the net. Big hustle by Belak, who's playing forward tonight. He's a defenseman, looking into the middle, shot right through the crease. Kukowski was there, but couldn't get a stick on it to redirect. Played back up off the boards, and they'll wave off any icing. Herbe had to come back to get it. Left it for Glenn Wesley. Wesley working on defense with Hill. Held back in by Belak. Now they've got to clear the zone and get on side. 9 ironed in along the near side wall. Played by Wesley again. Wesley behind the net drops. Toronto will make the line change here. Near side. Reached for. Knocked down by Cavalier of Toronto. Cavalier jammed it. McGillney moved in to help out. Still loose along the wall here. Nobody's got a handle on this thing. Finally came loose and taken back by the Canes near side boards. That's where all the action is right now. And Belak won't let up. Knocked away at center ice. McGillney reached in, couldn't get it. Just deflected off the far side. And that's finally going to be whistled. The Leafs have the 2-1 lead with 5:36 to go in the second period. It was Jonas Höglund who deflected it in, and as a result, it counts despite Herbe's argument.
Hi, I'm Major General C.J. Wax, Commander of the Army and Air Force Exchange Service. Being stationed overseas away from familiar products and services can be a challenge. To make your overseas tour more enjoyable, your exchange has a full range of goods and services available. For an even larger selection, take advantage of the All Services Exchange catalog or shop us online anytime at apis.com. So stop by your local PX or BX either in person or on the web. We'll make you feel right at home.
Little-known facts of military history. In the lull between Civil War battles, opposing forces sometimes established temporary bonds of friendship. Lookouts would send hand-carved sailboats across a river to the enemy, exchanging coffee for tobacco. During the Petersburg campaign, Union General Ulysses S. Grant even sent a child silver service through the lines to Confederate General George Pickett in honor of his newborn son. Friends and enemies.
The military has already armed me with knowledge and training I need to defend myself. As a woman, I'm worried about a more personal enemy, breast cancer. And that's why I've taken the time to learn about this disease and how to do a proper breast self-examination. By training myself to think detection and defense, I'm already ahead of the enemy.
Every woman needs to know how to perform a breast exam. Contact your healthcare provider for more information.
Great to have you with us here as the Toronto Maple Leafs on the road have a 2-1 lead. Leafs on the road in the playoffs, 2 wins, 4 losses. They've been outscored 17-23 on the road, including the goals picked up here tonight. But they've got the lead right now. Ron Francis with 5:20 to go in the second. Pass for O'Neill, blocked to center. Erickson, the 27-year-old, playing in his 6th playoff game this year, got down and blocked that one. Nathan Dempsey. Toronto will move it out. Specialty teams have done the work here tonight for both teams. McGillney's got room in the middle. McGillney a chance, and he ripped it wide on the stick side. McGillney is really looking confident out there. And he gets the puck, and he knows exactly what he's going to do with it. And that shoot. And of late, as Bill mentioned, he's been the man picking up the goals. Third back into the middle. Roberts stepped up on it, couldn't get it. McCauley finally taken away by Roberts from Cole. Right back in the Canes. They want a line change here. Played deeper into the zone. Corey Cross lost it. Brendamore left it. Cole back to him. Open, all open, 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 open. And puck checked away. Roberts reached in the last minute. Hennigan's shot blocked in front. Battaglia went behind him. Cleared out. You talk about waiting. You can't wait any longer than that.
No, well, that tells you what Rod Brind'Amour had to shoot at. Curtis Joseph just kept adjusting with no stick. And Rod Brind'Amour ran into real estate and out of time.
That's why goaltenders practice that, working without a stick. Guys in front of them with the puck. Pays off situations like that. Aaron Ward got it back and out through center. Intercepted Cross. Toronto completing a line change will wait. Cross gets it back. Corey Cross not picked up a point yet in this the 7th game he's played in this year in the playoffs. Knocked down off the near side boards. Held in. Shot. Deflected up in the air. Good play. Wojnarowski off the near side boards had the opportunity. Chip back in behind the net. Reichel trying to come around. Reichel looking. Reichel's got Hervé's head on a swivel here. Reichel waiting. Caberlet was sneaking in. Caberlet dropped it off. Sent back in behind the net. All the work coming from behind here against Hervé. Reichel again. Lost it to Cole. Trying to pin it up against the boards. Look back out onto the middle now. They've got Belak in the middle. He's playing up front on this line, as we said. They sneak in near side, knock down Hennigan. Hennigan moved it up on the boards, not out yet. Toronto, Caberlet battling to hold it in. He did. Hennigan finally gets it across ice. Moved out by Aaron Ward. Carolina needs the line change here. Svoboda off the far side boards, pinned up by Shane Corson. Puck still loose in the corner. So we played Edmonton specialty teams. It's been this in the corner with guys just banging and jamming and cross-checking from behind.
What's amazing is the energy level that the Leafs are showing. I mean, they had to travel here yesterday after completing a grueling, we're talking about a bitter, grueling 7-game series against the Ottawa Senators.
Evan Adams racing. Adams in a collision with Brian McCabe. McCabe's down with the puck underneath him.
One of the big stories, Curtis Joseph. In past years, Curtis Joseph has been great at the start of the playoffs and has seemed to tail off. He decided to do it backwards this year, and it's paid dividends. He is stronger now than he was at the start. He finally ended up doing a snow angel. Southwest Airlines goal camp, you'll see he went down, dropped his stick, spun all the way over, and finally, help arrived. Rod Brind'Amour, a good face-off artist. As we take a look at our Nivea league leaderboard, Travis Green of Toronto, #1 in the playoffs. Steve Yzerman, #2. Rod Brind'Amour, #3. But in talking to Travis Green this morning, he said, look, I know Ottawa was just a warm-up. Brind'Amour, #2 in the NHL during the regular season. Ronnie Francis, #3 in the NHL during the regular season.
Green went 3 out of 8 in the first period. Said to me today coming over to the rink, I said, you guys get any sleep? He gave us that famous line. Travis Green, sleep? Overrated. Smiled and then went back to sleep in the back of the bench.
You threw a blanket over him and made it like
he slept for 3 minutes and felt like he was rejuvenated. Here's a 360 move by Kapanen to get it in. Hill's shot got blocked, though, to the near side. Good work by McGillney, who helped move it out of there. Green reaching in from behind. That'll roll slowly by and covered up by Curtis Joseph. We have a 2-1 Leafs lead here with 1:49 to go in the second period. Another series coming up. ABC Sports coverage of the Stanley Cup continues Saturday. First game, Western Conference semifinals, the Colorado Avalanche. They had to go 7. They had to win 2 in a row to get there. They did it. They have moved on in defense of that Stanley Cup against the team that all year was favored to win it, the Detroit Red Wings. Yzerman, Dominic Hasek. It's coming up 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, ABC, Saturday, Game 1, Avalanche and Wings. Off to the right of Curtis Joseph. And at 49 left to go here in the period. There'll be one back near side for Roberts. O'Neill got the first goal of the game at 3:23 of the first period on a power play. The last 2 have been picked up by Toronto. McGillney getting his 8th of the playoff from Caberlet in a 5-on-5. And then at 12:45 of this period, Hoagland from Dempsey and Roberts.
Gary, we had a chance to talk over and also to look over the replay of the goal. We talked about the officials signaling. This was the goal that was at least reviewed because it was hit with a stick that could have been higher than the crossbar. Dan Maruelli turned out to be not only a picture of correction for us. You see, he pointed at the goal. Hervé was going for a high stick, saying high stick. Maruelli pointed at the goal and then said, just a second, because we are going to check upstairs. But just exactly what he should have done. He was perfect on the play from start to finish.
So that answered the question we asked. The official did make a call. He signaled goal. So unless the video replay clearly showed that it was not a goal, then the official's ruling stands, and it stood. Third around the far side. Hoagland's got it. He has the goal. Back out through center. Taken away by Aaron Ward. Ward waiting as they clear with 1:04 left to go in the period. Got Deadhoff off the boards, came right back, right straight out towards the dot. Roberts, nice drop pass by Robert. Collie cutting shot. Hoagland hit the pipe off the near side and behind Hervé and out the other way. Cole at center. There's one. Remember that one. Cole steals it. Cole trying to drop it off, but he got deflected. Curtis Joseph willing to take faceoffs here on every occasion.
But he's being told,
got a whistle.
Be told to move it.
Wait a minute.
He's calling a penalty.
Penalty shot.
No, I think he's just calling a penalty. I think Dan Maruelli, I could hear him yelling, move it, move it. He did not want Curtis Joseph coming out halfway between the circle and the faceoff dot to smother this.
I thought Rob Schick was pointing to center ice.
Gary Roberts is arguing it.
31 Joseph, 2 minutes delay again.
Yup, just a minor. Sorry. I thought he signaled out to center for covering that puck up outside of the crease.
Gary, what this leads me to believe is that on the last one that Curtis Joseph smothered beside his net a few minutes ago, that Dan Maruelli might have said, look, you're out of the crease, don't do that. So Curtis Joseph's almost to the face-off dot here, and Dan Maruelli was yelling, move it, move it. Curtis Joseph immediately started looking for somebody to move it to, and that was a pretty scary thing because he saw as many socks that were white as he did socks that were blue. Jonas Hoagland. They call him Jonas now in Toronto. He got one that was allowed because it was not higher than the crossbar, and that one, he ripped off the post. Urbe is right, and it looked like there was a bit of daylight there, too. A little bit of room, but he didn't get quite the bounce that he wanted.
Carolina's going to get their 8th power play of the game. 8th. They've scored 1 power play goal. The penalty will be on Curtis Joseph for delay of game. Hurricanes 1 for 7 tonight. They've had 11 shots on the power play. There's 37 seconds left to go in the period with a 2-minute minor up on the board.
You know, one of the problems for the Carolina Hurricanes, I've talked about their starting power play unit and how they've got left-handers out there. Their top 2 lines, since Jeff O'Neill has moved to another line, their top 2 forward lines are all left-handers.
Here's Captain on a chance, deflected wide in front by Martin-Jelin. Played on the far side, off the glass. McCabe trying to get it out of there, but it ends up in the seats. Another face-off. 26 left in the period.
You know, remember Curtis Joseph was trying to smother that puck with a deficient glove hand, too. He did a little baton twirl. See, his right hand's working fine because he caught that no problem. And he has obviously practiced that a couple of times.
Cleared around the near side. Carolina trying to hold it in to get a chance here. Comes off the stick of Captain, though, and cleared out.
You know what? Toronto's penalty kill has looked stronger and stronger and stronger. And at the same time, Carolina's power play has just wilted.
Confidence, 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 and it's going the other way. You bet. From one to the other. And we're going to have a power play for Carolina to start. The third period, rather. They'll have 1:24 left on it. And Hoagland picking up the goal in this period at 12:45 from Dempsey and Roberts. McGillney has one. O'Neill has the only one for Carolina. It has been Curtis Joseph able to knock down the chances. He's had 22 saves. Hurricanes have outshot the Leafs 23-14 through 2 periods. And Toronto somehow is able to find a way. Are they going to be able to do it again, even though they did not score first in this one? Gentlemen.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. And you don't want to say that Game 1 is a must-win situation for any team. As a matter of fact, the teams left in the playoffs have all lost a Game 1 in a series. But when you look at a team like Toronto who's had 1 day's rest, coming off a 7-game series, this could be as key as a Game 1 gets.
No, I really thought if one team got the shaft with scheduling was Toronto, having to start in Carolina and travel and play 2 days ago was such a tough series against the team they beat. So Toronto's doing it with heart and soul. They're not getting the puck to the net. They're working hard. And penalty killing is goaltending and work ethic. And right now, Toronto has got the goaltending. Cujo looks great, and they're outworking Carolina's power play. That's why they're not scoring on the power play.
20 minutes away from taking a 1-0 lead in this series. And when we come back, we'll talk about Game 1 in the series in the West. These are the Red Wings, poised and built to be a champion.
This is an AFRTS News Minute. Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld testified Thursday before the Senate Armed Services Committee about the decision to cancel the Army's Crusader artillery system program. The Secretary said while there are good components within the Crusader system, the entire platform doesn't fit in with defense transformation goals.
It's not about a system that couldn't be used. It could be used. And it's not about a system that the Army would not like. The Army would like it. But the issue is how do we balance the risks? And in short, it's about foregoing a system that was originally designed in a different strategic context to make room for more promising technologies that can accelerate transformation.
Secretary Rumsfeld said taxpayer dollars could be better spent developing a system with greater maneuverability and precision. That's an AFRTS News Minute. I'm Army Sergeant Mark Parr.
With GSA, you have access to more than 4 million commercial products and services. And with flexible and improved ordering options like GSA Advantage and the newly expanded Multiple Award Schedules program, GSA will continue to be your total supply and services solution, not only now, but into the future. GSA and the Department of Defense, teammates for the 21st century.
AFN Primetime Tonight.
Hey, Dad, will you help me build this model rocket?
Homer builds Bart a rocket. But when that explodes, it's back to the drawing board.
I didn't know your dad was so interested in science.
Then, after That 70s Show and Survivor, Sydney is trapped behind enemy lines.
I'm at the safe house.
Viewers in Korea will see The Agency. Keep up the good work. Alias in Europe and Japan. The Agency in Korea. AFN Primetime Tonight.
In a story about faith,
How will I ever get back home?
trust,
The only way out of here is to fly.
I can't fly.
and pixie dust.
I've got to try. I'll always believe in you, Peter Pan.
Peter Pan in Return to Neverland.
This Intermission Report is presented by Dodge, the official road team of the NHL. Grab life by the horns. Dodge.
Toronto has a lead on the road. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Carolina down 2-1. Welcome back, John Saunders alongside Barry Melrose. We talked about it earlier tonight between the first and second periods about the Hall of Famers, 9 or 10 of them on the Detroit Red Wings, already a lock. But it takes other guys help. Why do I get the feeling I'm going to hear something about cake?
You're going to be stealing my lines, man. That's not, we've been working together too long. Bottom line is, yeah, you got to have the talented guys to put the puck in the net and the fancy guys to make the pretty plays to score the goals. But you also got to have the guys that do the dirty work, the guys that win the physical battles, the guys that cause a little bit of stuff out there that makes the other team mad. And Detroit's got 3 beauties. Kurt Maltby, this guy makes the whole other team mad at him. Look, you've got a little Ray Ferraro mad at him right there. Killing the penalty, diving, talking to people. He'll be talking smack. He'll be swearing at people. He'll be trying to get people off their game. There he blocks his shot, takes one off the hand, shows he can play with pain. Chris Draper is a speedster. He's a centerman. He's a guy that gets in and does a forecheck, and he's another guy that makes people mad. He's, at the end of the night, most of the team is mad at Draper also. He can also score. We've seen him score some big goals for the Detroit Red Wings over the years. Now the protector, the guy that has to go in and mop up when those 2 little guys have made everybody on the other team angry. I love this guy, Darren McCarty. He's a heart and soul guy. He comes to play every night. You know what you're going to get out of this guy. And he's capable of scoring a big goal also. We saw in the Stanley Cup Finals a few years ago when he made a beautiful individual effort and scored a goal. So this line is sort of like the third line for San Jose, the Ricci line. They can check, they can skate, they can hit, they can make people angry, and they can also score goals when they get a chance, John.
When you play, were you icing or cake?
I was like a rotten egg when they threw, someone didn't check the eggs going in.
Maybe the plate or something like that. Everybody talks about how tough it is to win in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the very toughest trophy to walk away with. We thought we'd show you just why it is that way. Some guys, how they look before. There's Peter Forsberg.
Good-looking guy, John.
Before the playoffs started, and here's Peter Forsberg now. He's got a couple of gashes on the nose and such.
He looks like the guy from Moonraker.
He looks like his braces, too. Ty Domi, clean cut right there, and we know the face is not, well, it doesn't look like
good-looking Greek boy.
Doesn't look great there, but boy, the after is an absolute mess. Domi not playing in tonight's game. Eric Messier of the Avalanche, again.
Male model.
Not a scar there at all.
Nose.
And there it is now, the big gash across the nose. He's got the beard going.
There's a modeling career.
And there's Gary Roberts.
Another male model.
He's been terrific this entire playoff. And has he paid the price? I'd say yes, he has indeed. And then, of course, there is my partner, Barry Melrose. That's with the mullet. And now Barry Melrose without the mullet. We'd like you to dial 1-800-MEL-ROSC and vote for which you like.
That's a good-looking guy no matter what he's wearing.
I think if you took the hair and combed it over your face.
I hope I never have to do that, okay?
Over the top.
I hope I never have to give the Steve Levy cut.
All right, everybody give us a call. Call Melrose voicemail. Let them know which you like that. We'll have the vote, and we'll tally that later on in the playoffs. We know we do have this tally. Green, the Macaulay rather with the shot. It goes off the post and out, and it is 2-1.
What if you had to choose between a flower and an elephant? What would you choose? What if you had to decide between a 100-year-old tree and a 1,000,000-year-old beach? Could you choose between drinking clean water or breathing clean air? Now you can choose all these things. EarthShare, the world's leading environmental groups working together. It's one choice we can all live with.
July 2nd, 1863. The Bliss Farm, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
We're taking a beating from those rebels inside the farmhouse. A few of our men are holed up in the barn over there. Someone has to tell them to take the house from the rear.
I'll take the order, sir.
Young Captain J. Park Postles of the 1st Delaware had felt ill that day, but when no one else offered to take the assault order, he volunteered. Almost immediately, he came under fire from the enemy. To his amazement, not a bullet touched him. He seemed to be safe as long as he was in motion, but what would happen when he reached the barn? No one could hit the moving target, and for his bravery that day at Gettysburg, Captain J. Park Postles was awarded our nation's highest honor. The U.S. military, our proud tradition, continues.
Okay, ladies and gents, now here's the latest on that new government contract. Now, until this war is over, we're not going to be the manufacturers of the finest silk blouses in the country. We're going to be the manufacturers of the finest parachutes in the world. Now, this ain't going to be easy. It means changing some of our work methods to meet government specifications because they only want the best.
During World War II, all across the country, manufacturers large and small rallied to the war effort. American technology, backed by the determination and will of ordinary people, built the industrial might necessary for us to win the war.
Now, I've never used a parachute. I never want to use one. But I know that each and every one of you is going to do what's necessary to win this thing and bring our troops back home safely. Now, here's the new work plan.
The civilian labor force supported the war efforts back on the home front.
This is the Dodge Intermission Report. We're headed towards the 3rd period. Carolina trailing Toronto. John Saunders and Barry Melrose. One of the reasons Toronto's become so successful, and really it's proliferated all throughout the entire National Hockey League. Every team is great at blocking shots now.
Is that what proliferated?
I'll look it up. I'll look it up. It sounded good.
Bottom line is tonight in 2 periods, Toronto's got 16 blocked shots. Now, yeah, the Carolina's got 8 power plays, but the puck's not getting through the net. And blocking shots is just a matter of being in the right place, but also having courage. Ronnie Francis is there. He can't get the puck to the net, so he turns back. Let's take another lane. Puck goes out to the point. That defenseman gets it. Still, Toronto Maple Leaf in the shooting lane. He can't get the puck to the net. Puck goes down to Francis again. He says, to heck with it. I'm going to shoot it anyways. Again, a Toronto Maple Leaf in the shooting lane right off the knee pads wide. 16 times a player's blocked that shot. That means 16 times the Carolina Hurricane is headed. He's had to alter his thinking. And anytime you get a player altering his thinking, all of a sudden things aren't working as well. And that power play, which was the 2nd best power play in the playoffs going in, has looked horrendous for the Carolina Hurricane tonight.
And like you say, it gets them thinking about it, because on occasion, they haven't even gotten the shot off.
Well, they get it, and they think, well, I got to make sure I get it through, and by then it's too late, and you've already screwed up your chance of getting the puck down low.
All right, Toronto trying to continue that for a 3rd period. Right now, they lead the Canes 2-1. Carolina, though, had a good 3rd period last round, I seem to remember.
Honey, what about the oven?
Broiler pan replaced, broken knob fixed, cleaned, inside and out, just like it says on the list.
And the cabinets and drawers?
Yep, did it. And removed the shelf paper. I see you took care of the crayon marks on the wall. Good. Hey, Princess.
Hi, honey.
Whether you're moving in or out of family housing, all problems should be reported or repaired. See your family housing office for a checklist and information.
Plugging in extension cables together. It's no big deal. I do it all the time.
This connection is a little loose. I'll replace it next week.
If it gets hot, just unplug it for a while.
Electrical circuitry overload is the cause for over 30% of total fires in U.S. Army Europe. Too many appliances plugged into the same receptacles or loose and frayed cords just add to the problem. Any way you look at it, it still spells fire.
It's that time of year when teachers invite parents to school to discuss their children's progress. Parent-teacher conferences allow discussions about helping students do their best in school. Before the conference, write your concerns, list your questions, and include one about how you can help. Ask your kids if there's anything they want you to talk about. Help your child. Get involved. Attend parent conferences.
America proudly salutes the members of its military services on Armed Forces Day.
Law and Order, AFN Saturdays.
Next time on Survivor, with the Alliance of Four now completely gone.
I thought Rob was my only out, but I had to stick with the majority. So I took out Rob.
New battle lines are drawn.
Survivor Marquesas, 8 p.m. AFN Friday.
Stanley Cup history, Mike Bossy scoring 2 goals in Game 4 of the Islanders series against the Vancouver Canucks, Barry.
But John, watch number 5 right there for Vancouver. That's Colin Campbell, president of discipline for the NHL, doing a great job of defense behind the goaltender.
He ought to find himself for that play. And Vancouver won the game 3-1. They won their 3rd straight Stanley Cup. Bossy 17 goals and 10 assists. And what history will be made this Saturday? Colorado-Detroit, Barry. Who do you like?
I like Colorado. I don't vote against a goaltender ever on that team.
Somebody order me a raincoat if we're going to Detroit.
Where did all these people come from?
There's only one website that provides all the Navy news you need to know.
I'll tell you where. The future.
The Navy Newsstand, providing news at the speed of light. Get the latest breaking news, top stories, and all the headlines from around the fleet. Keep your eye on the fleet. Our photo gallery has hundreds of pictures of sailors protecting our great nation. And coming soon, you'll be able to watch Navy Marine Corps news and daily news update anytime, anywhere. www.news.navy.mil is an easy-to-navigate site with fresh information. It's the one site you can't live without.
The name Alabama first occurs in the chronicles of Hernando de Soto's expedition of 1540. De Soto, a Spanish explorer, was searching for gold in the valleys of present-day Alabama. While in this region, De Soto met members of the Alabamu tribe. Their name was derived from the Choctaw words alba and amo, meaning plant gatherers. The Spanish shaped the word to fit their own language and began to call the river that flowed through the valley the Alabama. Eventually, they applied this name to the entire territory. In 1817, the territory of Alabama was officially separated from the state of Mississippi. Later, when it became a state, the name Alabama was retained. Alabama, land of the plant gatherers.
at a party.
A team goes out of control.
It ended up being about 50, 60 people.
What kind of fight broke out in the house?
I didn't think it was major like that.
The damage is in the thousands.
The most expensive thing that was destroyed was your car.
Ebony feels like she's not responsible for anything.
Judy's ruling could change this family forever.
She cannot come back in my home.
I don't want to come back anyway.
Good.
A powerful Judge Judy.
Some people are hopeless.
Friday at 12:30 on AFN.
ESPN's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs is brought to you by Nextel, how business gets done. By Bud Light, the proud sponsor of the NHL. And by Dodge, the official road team of the NHL. Grab life by the horns. Dodge.
Ready to begin the third period. Welcome back, everybody. Gary Thornbill, Clement, Brian Engblom. Toronto up 2-1. A power play, though, for Carolina. Curtis Joseph delay a game was the call. Hoagland will serve the penalty. And still a minute 23 left to go on it as we start the third. This is the 8th power play of the game for Carolina. And a chance to tie it here early in the third period with the advantage. The penalty killing unit, though, as Bill mentioned, of Toronto has just gotten better each time they've been out there on the ice. That was stopped, swung around by McCabe and out of the zone. Curtis Joseph stopped it. Irbe at the other end. Irbe, 18 wins, 21 losses in his playoff career against Curtis Joseph, who's 56 and 54 in playoff history.
No ties, huh?
No ties. Sammy Kapanen sent it in. Caberlet, there is no third column in the play. McGillney on the far side, knocked away. 48 left on the advantage. Kapanen near side, Hill on the far side on the point. Ronnie Francis. They've got O'Neill out in front. Battaglia behind the net. Centering pass to the point. Hill a chance. They get blocked into the corner. Francis back. Battaglia. Battaglia looking. O'Neill has the power play goal. The only one on the board in the game for the Kings. Lost over there to Caberlet. Got it back. Francis. Turned around. McGillney was there, but got it back again. Shot through the middle. Deflected. Blocked. Wide side. Good help out in front that time by McCabe in front of Curtis Joseph. Cleared around. Again, the hard wraparound, and it's out of there. The big line we have talked about so much. 14 of the 30 goals coming into this game scored by that BBC line. They've not had a point yet in this game. They have picked up 5 shots total on that line for Carolina. Shot deflected wide. Cole trying to get it in there. Power play over. 5-on-5. Joseph looking. Look out. That's almost covered by Roberts. But he got it back to Curtis Joseph and let Joseph freeze the puck.
Nice little save there for Curtis Joseph to start this period. What a playoff run it's been for Eric Cole. You know, people are hockey crazy and hurricane crazy here in the South, but there's a town in the north called Oswego, New York, where Eric Cole is from. It's kind of a middle America type town. I mean, when Eric Cole can boast of guys sitting around watching a game back there with nicknames like Canute and Vash and Nate and Diltsey, you know you've got pals for life waiting back home in Oswego.
He was so funny the other night after we did the interview with him after the game, and he leans back into Brian's mic and goes, "Hey, Oswego," right at the end of it.
Well, I told him to make sure that no matter what the first question was in any future interview, to say, that was a great question, but I have something to say. Hi, Oswego, and then go ahead and get it done at the start.
Ignore the question, that way you know it got on the air. Berg dropped it off, intercepted. Deflected to the side of the net, Brendan Moore. Yeah, a little hit put on there by Corey Cross, took his man down. Despite all the injuries, Toronto going with 3 lines in this game. Can they stand up here in the third period with only a day's rest? Curtis Joseph knocked it away. You've seen the defensemen have to work. Caberlet and Brian McCabe. Almost 19 minutes, 19 plus for both of them so far in this game.
Gary, there have been hardly any easy minutes for them. At least half of those have come on the penalty kill.
This is not a power play. Brendamore centering pass blocked. Travis Green. And finally out of there, Corey Cross went down to block it. Power play ended some time ago, but the Hurricanes kept it in the zone. Third period. Leafs lead it 2-1. Brian Engblom.
Travis Green had a huge series against the Ottawa Senators. One of the things he did extremely well is he won over 70% of the faceoffs. Let's see what he's up against. He knew coming into the series, as Bill Clement mentioned, that he had to go against Ron Francis and Rod Brindamore, number 2 and 3 in the National Hockey League in the regular season. You got to do everything you can. Get low on that stick, use the body. But what happens if you lose a draw, this type of play you can give up. This is a 1-goal hockey game right now. Travis Green's going to be taking a lot of faceoffs from here on in for Toronto. All the pressure's on him.
He's done a good job so far in this game, winning 59% through 2 periods. Brenda Moore, 53%.
Well, Travis Green is on the learning curve. He started out winning 3 of 8 in the first period, then won 10 of 14 in the second period, and has picked up where he left off.
Josef Washishek will move in to take the face-off here against Green. Green set it right there in the dot on the defensive draw. Cleared up to the point, but not out. Shot, glove down again. Rebound wide. And again, as has been true throughout this game, Curtis Joseph cannot hang on to the puck in the glove. He cannot squeeze that bad hand that's got the index finger. And so he's just blocking it and knocking it down, and his defenseman having to come back and help out to move the puck out of the zone. Leafs trying to get game 1 under their belt on the road here with a 2-1 lead. 3 minutes into period number 3. 1-2-2. Forcing the play deep back in behind the net. Bonarkovsky was up there and just kept jockeying in front of the net. That knocked away by Robert Reichel. Anything Toronto gets out of this line, they're looking for defense. They're back into the zone. Jalina giving chase. Banged off the near side boards. Dempsey got it up into the middle. Bonarkovsky will move that one in. He's got Belak with him, but no chance to get a pass off there. Belak moves back in, puts the hit on. Jalina's got the puck. Martin Jalina, 2 goals, 2 assists so far in the playoff year. Dumped it in. Carolina was changing. Backed up near side to Hoagland. Notice Hoagland tipped out of the zone by Belak. Toronto will complete their line change here. Centering pass just tipped wide. Roberts turned around. There was the puck. Turnover at the blue line. Roberts was down low and actually got a chance out of that. Shot back in by Hoagland wide. Roberts again turning around. Francis over there. And back out to center. Toronto gets it back. The shot advantages throughout the game have gone to the Hurricanes 24-15, but Toronto's been able to cycle the puck down low a few times, or at least drive it through the crease. Hoagland over on the far side, intercepted, got it back in front, no, and underneath his stick. Haynes moved that one out, looking for Kapanen far side. That got blocked at center. McCauley flipped up onto the Toronto bench. Want to remind you to join ESPN tonight, 12:30. It's called The Life Inside the Athletes Off the Field. This week, NFL quarterback Jeff Garcia. How's he doing in the offseason? In San Francisco. That's The Life tonight, 12:30 ESPN.
Toronto's looking strong right now, as long as they don't get into more penalty trouble. They're looking strong. Good defensive system. I mean, Carolina is trying to make long rink-wide passes, but Toronto's cutting the ice in half.
Toronto would be heavily favored in this series were it not for the injuries if you went on the regular season. Because Toronto was a team that finished 3rd overall in the National Hockey League. They were only one of 3 teams that had 100 or more points. Carolina overall finished 16th, but they won their division. So we're seeded 3rd in the East.
Yeah.
That said, though, when you're missing 8 regulars, which Toronto is, it kind of evens things up.
But that was then and this is now. And I'm not sure the Maple Leafs are more dangerous now, because you might tend to underestimate them a bit. I don't know. I heard Barry talking about it between periods. I agree. This is a golden opportunity for the Carolina Hurricanes that they can't let slip away here.
This game.
Yes, this game, because it's the only chance the crack they're going to get at them when they're dead tired.
Cole, chance. Right there, Curtis Joseph. Cleared off the near side. As the series moves along, Toronto's going to get more players back, obviously.
And 2 days to rest before the next game.
On Sunday.
Yep.
Drop back off in behind the net. 14:52 to go here in this 3rd period. And the Leafs are leading it by a score of 2-1 in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Move back into the middle, pass a little ahead. Get put on by Belak, chased it down in the corner. Doing battle there was Svoboda. Puck pinned up by Svoboda. He'll take a face-off here in the zone if he can get one, but he can't. Referees want that puck moved. Little hit from behind by Eriksson. Battles continue along the wall and in the corners in this game. Right from the get-go, we've seen this kind of play. It is bruising play that can really wear you out. Those kind of scrums right there take a lot of energy. And they've taken up whole shifts. Jalina trying to drop it in, deflected away, gets it back at center. Hooked out by Robert Reichel, who took him down. Puck's going to be cleared up, moved back in. Ooh, a slash. Belak and a penalty coming on Jalina. And a power play coming for Toronto. Right in front of the official, he let Belak have it.
A must call when it's that close. Not much tolerance for the slash. Belak was going by and, oh yeah, that's right, on the thumb with 2 hands. Belak made sure that Dan Maruelli saw there was a tad bit of pain attached to this. Aye! Take that back. That was Rob Schick that made the call.
Roy Orbison singing "I'm Hurting" right there. Oh, I'm hurt.
Guess who's going to be hurting if the Maple Leafs can get a goal here? What an opportunity for them to make this a 3-1 game. If they score here, they only have 13 minutes to go with a 2-goal lead.
Back onto the point. They hold it in. Big shot. Save made. Irbe came out deep to hold that away. Ryan McCabe working a point. McCauley. McCabe. Hoagland. They get Roberts in front. Back on top. There is nobody on top. A lot of room as they move this power play down. Roberts shot. Blocked. Rebound covered by Irbe.
Gary Roberts with a good chance. What a meaningful series it is for Gary Roberts. He was out of hockey in the mid-90s for a year and a half with neck surgery. Thought he would never play again. The Carolina Hurricanes stepped up to the plate and signed him. He subsequently went to the Toronto Maple Leafs, but he remembers the Hurricanes as an organization that believed in him. He had great faith in Coach Paul Maurice, loved what the Hurricanes organization did in believing in him. And now it's kind of a love fest, but this Carolina group, led by Paul Maurice, have to play against a guy, and they've got to play for keeps against a guy that they really care about.
Just a reminder from the fans there. Don't forget. I don't think they have. Power play. Caberlet working at a point. Caberlet looking at McGillney in the high slot. Corson down low. Shane Corson. Caberlet in the middle. Carolina comes out to get it. Short-handed. Looking up ice. 2-on-2 chance. Brendan Moore moved it in. Turns around. Swings it in front. Backhand chance. Curtis Joseph had it lined up and knocked it away. Good play in the short-handed opportunity. Kevin Adams had moved up to help. The penalty, by the way, was a slash on Jelena. 6-minute mark. It is the 4th power play of the game for Toronto. They've picked up 1 power play goal so far. They are 11 now for 72 chances. This is the 72nd of the playoffs. Caberlet sent it in. And Hill gets control of it. Sends it up on Joseph at the other end. 40 left on the advantage. Toronto with a 2-1 lead. And a power play chance here to make it a 2-goal lead. They did not score first, but they have scored the next 2. That dump in ends up going up and over the glass for the whistle. 29 left in the advantage. Tomorrow, Ladies' Day, Baltimore's Pimlico Racetrack. ESPN will have complete coverage of the Black-Eyed Susan Stakes. 127th running 3-year-old fillies, 5 o'clock Eastern, ESPN tomorrow.
Well, the Maple Leafs are flexing their muscles of resilience again here in this hockey game. 4 of their 8 playoff wins, their opponents scored first. In tonight's game, the Carolina Hurricanes scored first, and Carolina has not lost yet in the playoffs when they've scored first, but obviously that doesn't scare Toronto.
4 out of 5 of those games, Toronto has won where they've gone down on the board. Power play underway here. Roberts chipped away off the near side, and Kane's able to clear it out. Skated back by Nathan Dempsey. They get onside. Only 9 left on the power play, though, and this is going to be an icing call on Toronto. Bad play on the power play. 3 seconds left on the power play, but the faceoff's going to be back in the Toronto zone. A lot of wins in the playoffs. Win 83 playoff wins. 4th year here. You got to come back to Carolina. You come back to the barbecue, and there are lots of them, and some pretty great sauces. NASCAR racing, of course, enormous here. The ACC conference, Duke, Wake Forest, North Carolina, and NC State. NC State plays here. This is not a campus building, but it is their home, and their football field is just on the other side of the building, where they play college football as well.
So the basketball team plays in the hockey rink.
That's right. That's what it's turning into.
Yeah, just wanted to get that straight.
Get that understood here in Kane County. Caniacs. I love that term. That's what the fans are called here. Caniacs in Raleigh. Dumped off the near side, and those in Raleigh don't want us to say Raleigh-Durham. Shot save made by Irbe, and the chance by Robert Reichel. 2-1 Leafs.
Cool up.
The firing party platoon, along with the drill team, the casket-bearing platoon, and the colors platoon, make up the U.S. Navy's ceremonial guard. These men and women proudly represent the Navy in ceremonies in the nation's capital and around the world. Contributing to important historical events and national pride, the Navy Ceremonial Guard reflects the proud tradition of the U.S. Navy. Armed Forces Ceremonial Units, America's ambassadors of pride.
In 1586, a small garrison of soldiers stood on the shore of Roanoke Island and watched Sir Walter Raleigh sail back to England. Raleigh intended to send settlers back to colonize the island near what would eventually be North Carolina. But when the new settlers arrived, all that was left were some ruins and one human skeleton. The newcomers nevertheless started setting up homes and other essentials for daily living. With the onset of winter, their leader, John White, returned to England for more supplies. White was delayed in England because of the ongoing war with Spain and did not return to the New World for 4 years. When he finally arrived, there was no sign of the colonists. He found only some letters carved on a tree. White searched for the settlers until worsening weather forced him to return to England. Over the past centuries, no sign of the colonists has ever been found, leaving the lost colony of Roanoke Island forever a mystery.
Off ice, actually. Looked pretty good, though. Those are the colors that we're kind of wearing here tonight. You got a response to that?
Where the heck do I go from there?
Absolutely nowhere. Nice to have you with us.
Yes, back to the game now. A game that the Toronto Maple Leafs are taking away. Curtis Joseph, obviously part of the story. The Maple Leafs' big challenge now is just not falling from exhaustion, especially Caberlet and Brian McCabe.
Curtis Joseph has played himself a heck of a game here. As we mentioned, as the injuries have piled up for Toronto, Curtis Joseph has gotten better. The goals against from the first round to the second round, dropping a goal a game.
And that's really what the knock on Curtis has always been. And if you watched him play, you saw him be great in the first round and second round okay. And when he has made it to the conference finals, which is only once, not quite as good. This year, as the stakes have been raised, as his team has needed him more and more, Curtis Joseph has played better and better, even with the hand that he can't even close to catch a puck with.
He's asking for close to $11.5 million next year in a free agent deal. He wants to get better. Brought back in by Sammy Kapanen. Kapanen turns it back towards the middle. This thing fired from over with 11:23 left to go. Centered shot blocked, and that's what the defense have done tonight to help Curtis Joseph. Knowing that he can't catch the puck, the defensemen have been within a step and a half of him all night.
They have to be close. He can't catch it, put it down, and shovel it to them with his stick.
So they just kind of pick it up after he blocks it. Francis in the corner intercepting McCabe catch. McCabe takes him down. The helmet comes off his head. There they are doing battle. Francis returns the favor, taking McCabe down into the middle, deflected. Joseph tried to cover, couldn't. But again, it squirted free, and there was McCabe to play it. Brian McCabe moving it out, tied for third among defensemen in scoring. McCabe this playoff year. Quick line changes here for Toronto, trying to keep fresh legs out there, while Carolina's trying to catch him in those change. That'll be dumped back deep into the zone by Malik. Toronto forcing it. Shane Corson up on the forecheck as they set the 1-2-2. Good play by Corson, turning Brendamore around. Almost intercepted as he got bumped out of the zone. Eli got a piece of that into the corner, the helmet, the puck, and the bodies. Loose in behind the net, Travis Green kicked the helmet and played the puck. Hill, chance, save. Joseph thought it might have gone through the middle. It did not.
It bounced. It skipped. Man, you know, we've talked a lot about Curtis Joseph's problem with his glove hand. Artur Zerbe was worried about his career in his glove hand. Back in '94, he was home in Riga, Latvia, working out. He was playing for the San Jose Sharks there, and he had a dog named Rambo, and it was a Newfie Lab, a gentle dog, but it was asleep, and he was doing sit-ups. He actually brushed the dog and woke it up, and the dog was startled and attacked him and mangled his left hand, all the tendons in his wrist, and Artur Zerbe rehabbed like crazy for so many months. He wondered if he'd ever be able to play in the NHL again. So Curtis Joseph is not the only guy that's had scary issues with his catching hand.
Moral of that story is don't do sit-ups on your lap. Face-off coming to the left side of Curtis Joseph. Cleared back out by Travis Green.
Push-ups are okay. Forget the sit-ups.
Dogs don't like sit-ups. Push-ups, that's a manly thing. Those ad things, buy something off an infomercial. Jelena clears it in off the near side. McGillney cleared it right back out. That's what Toronto's going to do here. 9:50 to go. Obviously, they want another goal. They also, though, are not going to give Carolina the opportunity to get it set up if they can help it. Jelena partially blocked that. Comes right back to him in the corner. Washishek had it along the board. Joseph Washishek, 21 years old, playing a lot here in this playoff year. Stepping up. Wesley to help hold it in. Taken back and behind the net by Erickson. Erickson up to the point and just out. Played back by Wesley. This ice may start tilting towards Curtis Joseph even more here with 9:15 left to go as Carolina puts the heat on.
Oh, good play by Curtis Joseph. He made a smart handle. He just poked it around to Dempsey on the side, and out they came. Then there's no forecheck for Carolina.
McCauley a tip wide. Roberts trying to get it set up to him. Fireside Hoagland knocked it away to Roberts. Roberts has McCauley cutting. Hit the outside of the net on that end off the goaltender's stick. Held in, though. Toronto putting pressure on. Hoagland blocked the attempt out by Hennigan. Hennigan able to pick up the loose puck. Hennigan starts it out. Lays it. O'Neill has got the goal for the Canes. Roberts and O'Neill collided. McCauley came back to get it. Alan McCauley. 3 goals, 4 assists in the last 4 games coming in for him. Hoagland the puck. Hoagland will take the shot and didn't miss by much.
No, deflected off of Aaron Ward, and it looked like it almost fooled Irbe. Lucky for him, it went wide.
He was just trying to dump it in. There was a line change. He didn't have anybody on the ice with him. They get back on side, but Brendamore comes away with the puck. Rod Brendamore, 31-year-old veteran, dropped that one off. Carolina changing it up, intended for Cole, deflected away again. Toronto, right in the middle of a line change over there, runs into it. Coming off the bench that time was Valine, who intercepted the puck. Still loose. Toronto takes it back. They try and spread it out here and get it in the zone.
Well, obviously the Canes are one shot away from tying it, but Toronto has diffused their forecheck game. Remember, Carolina's an in-deep kind of team, established their forechecking game down low. It has not existed since early in the first period.
And Toronto's checking right there. Creates the offside.
For over 5,000 years, the people of Asia and the Pacific used art to document their histories, record their cultures, worship their gods, and to pay homage to their ancestors. From the powerful temple sculptures of India to the delicate strokes of the Chinese alphabet, art from Asia and the Pacific has always been as diverse as its people. A lasting legacy to enrich us all.
At busy times, such as major holidays, deployments, and flu season, people often forget an important responsibility, giving blood. When donor participation is down, our blood supply is low. Please give at your medical treatment facility. These busy folks do.
It's a fact. Smokeless tobacco is dangerous. Almost anything would be a safer choice.
They are rocking it here. Inspiration for this team. The Caniacs, but the Leafs have the 2-1 lead. Toronto Maple Leafs oftentimes have visited these kinds of series this deep. That's their 4th conference final in 10 years. Only Detroit and Colorado had more in the last 10. And they're trying to pull what would have to be considered an upsetting game 1, at least.
Looking good doing it, though, Gary. I mean, they've taken Carolina's game away. We talked about establishing your game in Carolina. We didn't know what Toronto's was, but it's been just a game of disruption because they've disrupted Carolina's game. They've turned into power play killing demons the Maple Leafs had, and the Carolina Hurricanes have looked average in every department.
And we've had no penalties here. Both teams have settled it down in that department in the 3rd period. We started with a power play, but it was a penalty in the 2nd period. We haven't had any penalties here in the 3rd after a game that was anything. It was all specialty teams coming into this period. Now neither team wants to do that. McCauley intercepted that side of the net. O'Neill came back to get it. O'Neill cleared it up and not out. Hoagland knocked it down with the glove. Hoagland a chance. They made Irbe out. Roberts overskating the rebound. Cleared up again just out of the zone as Nathan Dempsey was battling away with it.
Irbe was almost out at the hash marks on that last save.
He's come out further and further. That's an offside call there. Speaking about coming out further and further. Brian
Bill Clement talked about Curtis Joseph getting off to a slow start in the playoffs and how he's improved. I think the games I've seen, this is the best one so far. Let's take a look at his night. Even though he's injured, he finds a way to fight off tough shots. He's had a little bit of luck. He wasn't even looking there, but he was able to keep that out. This was a terrific save on a tip in close. And terrific patience on Grindamore, improvisation by rolling over on his back, and he's making all these saves, guys, without using that catching glove.
And the shots have continued to increase as Toronto's had injured players. The opponents have gotten more shots, 30-21 tonight in favor of the Hurricanes. And that's another reason Joseph's had to be good. Toronto's had more shots against them and taken fewer shots between the first and second series, and it looks like it's going to continue here in game one of the third series. The dump pass into the middle block, straight up in the air. Marlene was out there. Malik just dropped that one off blindly. Irbe back to get it.
When Pat Quinn can get mileage out of a line with Robert Reichel in the middle, Panikowski on one side, and Wade Belak, who is a little used defenseman, forced into action up front because of all the injuries, and he can get great defensive mileage out of that line, and they believe they're doing everything right.
And no transition game, Bill. The Hurricanes have not been able to find a way to move the puck through center ice yet. Now, saying this, keep in mind 5:34 left to go, and it's only a one-goal game. Yeah. Travis Green bumped it out of there. McGillney moving up, and will be an icing call. 5:25 left to go in game one of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Leafs 2 and the Hurricanes 1.
I wanted a job where I could kick back. No responsibility at all.
I can't believe I get paid for this.
If there's a boat out there and he's stranded, that's us. We're out there, we're doing a job.
This is the real thing.
Yeah, anyone can be this crazy. Everybody has the same opportunity as anyone else. Oh, we're definitely helping to clean up the environment.
Boys earning their money today.
Now that's a resume.
A PCS is a perfect opportunity for children to explore new cultures and new experiences, but it can be intimidating too.
Sarah, would you like to meet some kids at your new school?
You can help them adjust by showing them how to learn about their new location. There's the Military Teens on the Move website, the sponsorship program, even the library. You'll notice that the more they learn about their new location, the more they'll look forward to the move.
Green ready to go in the draw to the right of Curtis Joseph. Big face-offs now like that. One back to Hedican. Hedican a shot save made. Rebound just set there in the middle of the crease. Could not be handled though as Battaglia reached for it, and it was just out of his reach. Played back to Caverly. Caverly gets it up to Green. Toronto back on the attack. That was close. McGillney onside on the tip. Turner follows it up with Corson. Poke checked away. Whistle and a little scrum on the far side. Travis Green involved in whatever that is.
Well, guess what? Travis Green can't take himself off the ice. It's Eric Cole. But Travis Green is Toronto's one face-off hope against either Rod Brindamore. Oh, and is he going?
Somebody's going.
Well, he's got them both, I think. But even if it's both, it's a victory for Carolina because Travis Green is Toronto's only hope in the face-off. He has taken about 2/3 of the draws. Here's what happened. Eric Cole took him to the boards and tried to put him into the boards, gave him a face rub, a head wrap, a head rip. And Travis Green that was kind of a minor retaliation for Eric Cole trying to rip his head off.
Matching minors. 4-on-4.
Curtis Joseph now is getting so active, not only on the saves. This was the Brett Hedican shot moments ago that he stopped with his blocker and popped it out past any danger.
From our Southwest Airlines goal cam, you can see that Joseph is well out because he knows he's got no canes to either side of him. Everybody was in front of him, so he could move out. Right after that, out to stop a hard rim. Carolina trying to get their forecheck set up, and Curtis Joseph has been, well, he's been more than dog-like. He's been cat-like quick and getting out to stop pucks behind his net.
Green goes for roughing. Cole goes for holding. Irbe stopped it. Played to the far side. McCauley 4-on-4. Caberlet chance. Gloved. Irbe will have to hang on, and an offensive face-off for Toronto. 4:52 left to go, and 1:50 left on the matching minors.
In control, but one shot away. Carolina is from tying this game. But the Toronto Maple Leafs sure don't look like a team that's panicking very much, nor do they look like a team that is out of gas. And I got to tell you something. Carolina's, they've tried the hard rim, and they haven't been successful with it on their setup for their forecheck. Not only without Curtis Joseph coming out, but now that he's coming out, that has gone nowhere. I'm really surprised they're not soft dumping the puck straight ahead.
Yeah, they win another faceoff. McCauley won the draw to hold it in momentarily here. Now the Canes starting, got a lot of ice out there. Battaglia will move it up. Brendamore is in the middle. Battaglia dumps it into the corner, gets tied up. Back to get it McCabe.
That was better, Gary. That was a softie into the corner. That way Curtis Joseph was not in the play.
And Carolina will take an offensive faceoff. They can get it in the zone, but the officials forcing them to play it here. Centering pass got blocked. McCauley played it off the boards. Battaglia puts the hit on. McCauley dug the puck out, left it for McCabe, almost went for nobody. Brendamore diving, trying to get a shot off. Curtis Joseph came out and reached out with a stick. Held in near side as Wesley moved up. Battle along the boards behind the net. Brendamore reaching in without the helmet. Battaglia had it over there, and finally a whistle and a face-off. 4:04 to go, third period. Leafs up by 1. Our Bud Light Stanley Cup summary. Peter Forsberg, incredibly leading playoff scorers after missing the whole regular season. Avalanche 5th playoff meeting against the Wings in 7th. Maple Leafs 34 years since they won the cup.
Right, we're down to just the grinding now. Rod Brendamore with some tremendous work. We said he never hits a wall, but Tomas Caberlet has not seemed to hit a wall in this game either. Number 15 for Toronto. Boy, I'll tell you what a game he has played. So much ice time, such physical play on the penalty kill and on scrums like that on the wall against guys like Rod Brendamore. Just a fantastic effort by the Toronto Maple Leafs, especially their defensemen.
4:04 to go in the game. 1:03 left to go in the matching minors. Ron Francis moves in to take the draw. Both moved quickly on that one. Francis credited with the win. O'Neill save made by Joseph.
Best save of the game.
Tough save that was down and low and headed for that glove side. Held in again by Hedican. Hedican trying to dump it off. McGillney got it. Can't clear. Sammy Capitan holds it in. This is 4-on-4 hockey now. Around the near side boards. 42 left in the matching minors. Cleared back up ice. Got the break in. Could be for the game. McGillney can't reach it. The puck squirted ahead of him. He was in alone.
Oh, Nathan Dempsey made a tremendous play, but the puck was alive as soon as it came to McGillney, and he never could control it.
Then he took it back out the center. Sammy Capitan drops it off for Glenn Wesley. Wesley starts it up. 20 left on the 4-on-4. Wesley down the right. Wesley trying to make the turn. Did. Centered. Played out of the zone again. D there. How many times? Corey Cross got there and just sent it out of the zone. Sammy Capitan back. 6 seconds in the 4-on-4. 3:06 to go in the third. Helena moves it in. Bertangelina feathered it into the corner. Cleared around by Cross. Roberts trying to get it out. Roberts does battle. Puck freed up along the wall. Held in. Near side turnaround shot wide of the net. Just swung around by Wesley. Blind shot, hoping to get somebody in front. This is going to be cleared 5-on-5 now. It will be an icing call on the touch by Wesley.
But now Toronto's got arrested Travis Green back to take their faceoffs. This was when he was in the box. It was a 4-on-4. Carolina pouncing in the puck, and Jeff O'Neill wheeling, winding, and firing. A left pad save by Curtis Joseph. His best save of the game because it looked like it was labeled for the far post. Dandy. A dandy save by Curtis Joseph, who even in this game, we talked about him getting better as the playoffs have gone along. He's even gotten better and looked better doing it in this game as it's gone along.
He is tied for third all-time in the playoffs in shutouts, as he has added a couple this season and has played spectacularly here. O'Neill's goal in the first period, the only one against him so far. 2:41 left. Face off to the left side of Curtis Joseph. Wasacek Someone's going to get chased. Corson's got to move in.
Travis Green. The next best guy, though, is Shane Corson. He's good to his backhand.
Green out, Corson in. Offensive draw. Toronto lines up defensively. Into the corner, right in front of the net. And the turnaround shot didn't get there. What a chance, Jelena. Martin Jelena couldn't get the angle on that. Oh, McGillney clears it up, but not out. Held in at the point, dropped deep. And on to the Carolina bench to stop the clock with 2:25 left.
Gosh, what a play. What a weird play. That almost got Carolina pay dirt. Josef Wasacek on the faceoff went ahead with it, but it actually went off the ref skate. It went off Rob Schick's skate and bounced right out front. Watch this, right there. It bounced out front. Martin Jelena was going behind the net because that's where the puck was going, but he never could wrap around. But look, Curtis Joseph had his arm against the post here anyway. Watch this. He would have had to score over his arm because Joseph had the arm against the post, and I don't think Jelena would have gotten it up anyway. So
he looks like he's hurt somewhere else. Curtis Joseph skated back and forth.
Yeah.
And that shoulder, right shoulder maybe, he's trying to loosen up.
And is 2 minutes and 24 seconds away from an ice patch.
2-1, Leafs on top. Third back up off the near side, intended for Belak, who got pinned up by Wesley. Freed the puck up behind the net. Carolina at home, where they've lost only one game this playoff year. Sent back in by Battaglia. Curtis Joseph out to get it. Joseph on the backhand around the far side. Defense pinching up, of course, for Carolina. Knocked down on the ice over there was Sean Hill as he tried to hold it off the dasher. Puck just banged away. Brendamore dumped it in the corner. Cole gets taken down. Little room near side. Toronto just trying to hang on here. They clear it out. They're icing the puck. This one goes wide. It will be touched up by Hill, and another face-off. With 1:40 left to go, neither team has used a timeout yet. Let's check in again with Brian Ingram. Right.
Gary, up down here at ice level. Gary Roberts just came flying off the ice here, took a skate off, was yelling and screaming, sharpened this thing right away. He sat down on the ice. The trainers ran in the back, sharpened the skate. He put it back on. I've seen NASCAR pit stops that take longer than that. He's back out there again.
Pretty good lacing right there, don't you think?
If you're going to go for the record pit stop, you might as well go for it here in NASCAR land.
Roberts 5 goals, 5 assists in the last 6 games. Their leader for that 7-game streak. 2-1. Leafs lead it. Face off to the right side of Curtis Joseph. 1:40 left to go. Won by Travis Green, but not out. Shot deflected off the far side. Corson sliding along the ice, blocked it. Sammy Capitan in the corner with Green turning it. Capitan wants to get this puck out in front. Gets tied up by Green. Back to the point. Never got there. Moved out. McGillney. McGillney drops it. Corson in. Tries to drop. Dive. Shot. Irving rolled up his arm and holds onto it. 1:16 left. I want to remind you, baseball tonight. Coming up, scores and highlights right here on ESPN. That will be next.
Boy, the Maple Leafs are laying down their lives. Again, they started the game that way, and they haven't let up. Remember, Shane Corson blocked a shot in Game 7 against Ottawa. Limped off. There he was out at the point, blocking an Aaron Ward shot. Shane Corson was noticeably limping in the locker room after the morning skate. Big deal. It's a long way from the heart, and these guys got big hearts.
Carolina is 5-1 in 1-goal games in the playoffs. Toronto 3-2. 1:16 left to go, and we'll start keeping an eye now on Irving. See whether or not they want to pull him out of there. Taylor takes it back in behind the net. Wait there, Hedican. 1:09 on the clock. At center, loose, Brendamore. Brendamore got that through Roberts. That one deflected. McCauley trying to tie it out behind the net. Brendamore racing in. Empty net at the other end. They have pulled Irving. Extra skater, shot Cole, blocked into the corner. Carolina's got the extra skater. Hedican to Francis, tied up. Comes around the near sideboard, still in the zone. Cole working at a point, held it in. He's the extra man out there right now. Hill cutting. Hill looking, shot. Missed it on the short side. Rebounded near side to Hedican. 40 left to go in the game. The Leafs are up by a score of 2-1, and this is not going to have to be whistled. Just feathered out of there.
But Toronto was able to get a change, too. 2 forwards come on. McGillney and Travis Green, 2 fresh guys.
Caberlet comes back to get it. Leaves it. McCabe off the stick into the seats for a face-off. And
they're calling for the face-off out of the zone. What a crucial break for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and one that goes against Carolina, because it went off a Carolina stick into the stands. The face-off comes outside with 23.3 to go.
They're going to check the clock. Extra time ran off.
Ryan McCabe tried to clear. Ron Francis had it ramp up his blade and into the stands. Now with 23.3 to go. Oh, Carolina going to call the timeout here, or have they already called it?
Neither team had used their timeout yet, and they're taking as long as they can to call it, I think. Not sure anybody has called it yet.
Well, they're diagramming something. There's got to be a timeout, because the coaching staff is diagramming something for Carolina. And they're talking about the clock because it went into sense now. I would say 26 and change. It didn't stop until it landed. It's supposed to technically stop as soon as it leaves the playing surface, even that plane, that imaginary plane over the glass.
Now, Carolina's not used their timeout. Pretty smart right there. They got virtually a whole timeout while they reset the clock. They had everybody at the bench, but they never called timeout.
Right. But they know what's going on here. Rod Brunimer's got to win it back, then it's got to go over to the far side to Ron Francis, who's standing way over in front of the Toronto bench.
McGillney, Hoagland have the goals for Toronto. O'Neill for Carolina. Cleared back in the zone. Caberlet overskated. Corson trying to get it out. Did not. Brindamore at the point. Time running out. Deflected in front. McGillney empty net at the other end. He banked it off the boards, but made sure there was no icing. 12 seconds left to go. Cole turning it up. Cole coming. The extra skater for Carolina. Met by Corson. Corson reaching in. Dump deep. Caberlet whistled. Hand pass. They'll have to set the clock again.
And I don't care how many seconds they add. This is going to do it. It should do it. Oh, man, look at this. Well, we said there wasn't any hatred between these two teams. Toronto just came off a bitter series against Ottawa. We're building. This is how it goes. Game one is a building game.
First time these teams have met in the playoff. Travis Green in a discussion with Bates Battaglia.
Little rabbit punch there by Rod Brindamore on Shane Corson. Corson turned around and gave him two Y-Iotas and a straight left. And then Rod Brindamore was getting punched from behind. His helmet got grabbed by somebody on the bench. It doesn't matter. Toronto's going to win this hockey game with the face-off outside the blue line.
With penalties, players will leave here with only 3.3 seconds left on the clock. Boy, Toronto, now they're going to get to rest. They don't have to play again till Sunday here in Carolina. So they should be even better come game two.
And boy, are they going to sleep tonight and tomorrow.
They have worked. O'Neill scored at 3:23 of the first, and Carolina went up. But Gilney tied it from Caberlet at 7:02 of the first. Right now, the game-winning goal goes to Jonas Hoagland at 12:45 of the second period from Dempsey and Roberts on the power play, of all things. And I say of all things because the power plays have gone 8-4 in favor of Carolina.
Travis Green went hunting for a helmet. See how he's got number 2 on? I guess he's got damaged in that scrum. He tried a couple. He said, no. Wade Belak said, come on, try mine.
You'll like it. Yeah. Baseball tonight coming up with all the scores and highlights for you. Timeout being used now by Carolina.
Here's Wade Belak, big Wade on the bench saying, I got your butt, I got your back, and I've got your new helmet. It looks like it's a little big. Doesn't matter. It'll work for 3 or 4 seconds. Now, if Wade Belak would turn around, we can see whose helmet he's got on. It looks a little small.
It hurts. I'm going to have a headache after this. It does look a little tight, doesn't it?
You win game one the way the Toronto Maple Leafs have, and the headache won't last long.
3.3 seconds. Carolina's used their timeout. And that face-off is at center. O'Neill coming out to take it against Travis Green. Hoagland looking for the game winner. It would be the 7th different player with a game-winning goal for Toronto this year. Toronto will be the 5th time that they will have won a playoff game after the opponent has scored first. That's a lot of wins when you've gone behind 1-0. No time was put back on the clock here. It was 3.3 when the whistle blew, and I think they're probably going to have to add some time back up there. They go back up to the video replay box for this because the video replay judge has the exact moment that you had a whistle and whether the clock kept running.
Well, we know about Toronto's ability to come back. They were on life support against the Ottawa Senators, down 3-2, down 2-0 in game 6. And And the Toronto Maple Leafs were able to come back on the strength of a couple of power play goals, tie it, ultimately win it, and then win in Game 7. No team gets this far in the playoffs without facing some adversity at some point.
Missing 8 starters from your lineup, I'd call adversity, including your 1, 2, and 4 scorers.
Even the Detroit Red Wings lost the first 2 games of the playoffs. Everybody has faced adversity.
And this thing is over, and Toronto, amazingly, has come away with a 2-1 win in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, doing it on the road. 31 saves for Curtis Joseph.
What a magnificent effort by these guys dressed in blue. On paper, they shouldn't stand a chance. Forget about the paper, crumple it up, throw it in the trash can. Pride, some stubbornness, big heart, a lot of guts, and some smart play with some good goaltending. And here they are, up 1-0 in the conference finals.
Oakland got the game winner, and that's the man who gets the win in net. Don't forget, our final here, first the Leafs 2 and the Hurricanes 1. NHL tonight, 12:30 a.m. That'll be coming up on ESPN2. ABC covers the National Hockey League Saturday, 3 o'clock, Colorado-Detroit, Game 1. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Baseball tonight is coming up next. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Game 1 goes to the record books from Carolina. For Brian and Bill, I'm Gary Thorne. So long.
thank you, thank you.
Children go through a lot when you PCS, so be sure to show your appreciation for their help and support.
When I felt had enough, you never turned away, you were right there. And I thank you, thank you.
I had a party.
A teen goes out of control.
It ended up being about 50, 60 people.
What kind of fight broke out in the house?
I didn't think it was major like that.
The damage is in the thousands.
The most expensive thing that was destroyed was your car.
Ebony feels like she's not responsible for anything.
Judy's ruling could change this family forever.
She cannot come back in my home.
I don't want to come back anyway.
Good. A powerful Judge Judy.
Some people are hopeless.
Friday at 12:30 on AFN.
Coming up on ESPN News, the Maple Leafs and Hurricanes opening the Eastern Conference Finals in the NHL. Playoff fever Southern style. The big unit guns for a 7th win as the D-backs take on the staggering Phillies. The Red Sox are swaggering through the American League. Tonight, the A's stumble into Fenway, hoping to trip them up. And Chris Carter ponders his options after football. You've got one choice, ESPN News.
From ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, this is ESPN News.
Hi there, sports fans. It is ESPN News, one-stop shopping for sports information with Matt Weiner. I'm Whit Watson.
Round and round we'll go with Major League Baseball, but first we're into the next round of Lord's Stanley Cup's playoffs, the Eastern Conference Finals in Carolina. Leafs and Hurricanes. Game 1 in Raleigh. Arturs Urbe the choice in net for the Canes. First period, no score. Eric Cole taken down, part of that BBC line. It's been so productive. Bates Battaglia puts it in the net. Later in the first, Canes on the power play. It's Jeff O'Neill there at the slot. 1-0 Canes. Still in the first now. Alexander McGillney shoots it. Stopped by Urbe. 1-0 Carolina in the first, and then it's McGillney with the shot and the score to tie it up at 1 apiece. Watch it again. One-timer deflected by Marcus Hoagland, his 4th of the playoffs, and the Maple Leafs hang on to win it 2-1. Leafs are 6-1 all-time in 7 playoff series openers. They also won 3 straight road playoff games after losing the previous 4. Carolina, only the Canes' second home playoff loss in their last 7 home playoff games. The veteran Gary Roberts with Brian Engblom afterward.
Gary Roberts, you guys must be getting used to this. People say you can't do it, you're too tired, you're too hurt. I mean, how big is this win for you guys?
A huge win for us. We wanted to have a better outing tonight. The first game in the last series didn't go so well for us, so I think we learned from that. We played a more simple game tonight, and I thought everybody did a great job for us.
It seemed like you guys controlled the momentum. Was that your game plan?
Well, I don't know about that. A lot of penalties we took again tonight. We don't want to do that too often. They've got a great power play. Eventually, they're going to hurt us if we continue to take penalties. We'd be a little smarter in that category, and but I thought we did the simple things. We did the things we had to do to win the hockey game.
Changing gears for a second, you have a close affiliation with this Carolina team. I know I'm not going to think in those terms during the playoffs, but at the same time, what do you think seeing this franchise in the conference finals?
Oh, it's great. It couldn't have happened to a better group of people. They treated me so well here, me and my family. Really enjoyed our time in Raleigh, and it's really nice to see their team in the Eastern Conference Final. And I guess the good news is one of us are going to the Stanley Cup Final, which is kind of nice.
And now you get a couple of days off. It's going to seem like going to the Bahamas, isn't it?
I don't know about the Bahamas, but we'll definitely enjoy a couple days rest and get back out there on Sunday afternoon.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Brian.
Toronto Maple Leafs are up 1 game in this series. Unbelievable. They do it again.
Brian, thanks very much. And now time for post-game extra here on ESPN News. Calling game 1 between the Leafs and the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. Gary Thorne and Bill Clement who join us now from Raleigh. And guys, about what you'd expect from a game 1 of the conference finals. Goals tough to come by. Goaltending outstanding from Curtis Joseph. Has the tone been set?
Well, I think the tone's been set as far as the physical play is concerned, certainly. I, for one, though, I really thought this was a game where Carolina would come out and hit harder, earlier, and force mistakes from Toronto. They tried it for about the first 8 minutes of the game, but it didn't work.
Well, what happens when you, to establish your game, if it's a hitting game and a forechecking game, you've got to do it 5-on-5. Carolina was on the power play so much, which is a better advantage. They couldn't get their secondary advantage going, so they failed on 2 counts, and the big failure was their power play. I think it's going to be, a heated series, but the big thing to me was the effort from Toronto. This is not what I expected at all. As I mentioned earlier, I tried this once, finishing a Game 7 and having 1 day off, and it wasn't enough for any of us on our team. Toronto just amazed me tonight.
And the question now is, with a couple of days off, they don't have to play till Sunday. Can Toronto get at least a couple of their 8 starters who are missing in the lineup back? If they do, they'll be even tougher, Matt.
I get a couple more of those guys back in the lineup, and could be more trouble for Carolina. The BBC line we've heard so much about from the Carolina Hurricanes, such a big part of their offense throughout the playoffs, accounting for 14 of their 30 goals so far, but they get just 6 shots off tonight and obviously no points. What did the Leafs do to slow them down?
Well, I think what Toronto did is they played them so hard deep in their zone. I thought that Brian McCabe and Tomas Kaberle and Corey Cross, another guy, had outstanding hockey games. Late in the game with the lead, when Carolina decided to dump the puck in and start their forechecking game and trying to get it up, Curtis Joseph diffused it. So a combination of Curtis Joseph with some timely puck handling when we didn't even think he could because of his hand, and great play by Kaberle and McCabe and Corey Cross, and they never got their forechecking game on track.
And Toronto took the play to them, and Alexander McGillney, if he continues to play the way he's playing right now, is going to be a real force in this series because they're afraid of him, and justifiably so.
Yeah, they should be.
He's skating as well as he skated all year, and he's one of the few guys left who can still go end to end, stick handle a puck, create an opportunity for himself.
And a guy the Devils still miss.
Yeah,
really, I mean,
yeah.
Seriously, he was their leading scorer last year, and he's one of the reasons they're not here in the conference finals.
One question we probably wouldn't normally ask in Game 1 of a conference finals, but since it is in Carolina, what was the building like? What was the atmosphere down there like tonight?
Well, it was large. There was a red roof, and it had seats.
Yes.
There was a nice surface on the bottom.
18,853 of them that were full.
Yeah, no
and
net.
You know what?
No nets.
No net. They were flying. They were actually on the trapeze without a net.
Yep.
The thing is that it was very loud, as we expected. But they never got a chance to get revved up. Toronto kept the crowd quiet, which was an important part of their win. We didn't see this crowd at their best. We got little glimpses of the decibel level that they can actually create.
And that's a credit to Toronto. I mean, they were not, it had no effect on them, even though the first goal of the game was scored by Carolina. They came right back and answered that and then took charge of the game.
Well, I'm plumb out of questions, but we do have some email queries via ESPN.com. First one comes to us from Michigan. Dean writes in, of the 4 remaining teams, which team can go 7 games without major issues, and which team needs to wrap it up in 4 games?
Is that a personal question? Major issues?
We don't discuss the major issues,
No.
especially the personal ones on television.
We shy away from those
Dean,
at all costs.
Dean in Michigan. I'm not sure what he means, actually, by major issues, and which team needs to wrap it up in 4. I don't know. I mean, the Toronto Maple Leafs is the team that could stand to get the healthiest, and the way they're going, they just get more banged up every time they take the ice surface. So probably Toronto would have more to gain. And let's put it this way: the Western team that comes out is going to be favored no matter who gets out of the East.
Yep.
So if the Eastern team could get out in 4, whether it be, well, it can't be Carolina now, but if it's Toronto, and hope that the Western series is a grueling, grinding, vicious series.